Talk radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Yeah, man. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. All right. Today's Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. 73 days into the new year, just 292 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Yeah. Tonight, very special guest, radio host, United Intentions, Tim Ray joins the show. That's right. Tonight is host to host. And so, you know what that means? Just to let you know, I kind of get to take the night off, right? I get to get another radio host in here and go in cruise control and just enjoy ourselves tonight. And lots of important topics to talk about. And Tim is connected and awake. And to be able to, just speak freely about what is going on in his world. When you host a show, and you're out there doing your thing, you tend to be at the center, right? You're at the center because you're interviewing other guests and you're on top of the news and events and things are coming at you from all directions. And so I get to pick his brain, what's going on in his world and what is, what is influencing the ebb and flow of his show. And that's just going to be an amazing conversation tonight. So yeah, I do. I kind of get to take the night off, man. Yeah. All right. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live with open lines all night long. Following that, the call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. You can follow us on Twitter. It's simple, at JChurchRadio. You can follow us on Twitter. Facebook, YouTube, everything is Fade to Black or Jimmy Church Radio and Game Changer, stuff like that. So you can go find it easily. Just go over to the website and click follow, like, and subscribe. The sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. Now, this show, especially to the new listeners that they kind of heard about the show and they want to come check it out. Now, they're here tonight. If you are on Twitter, then you need to follow us on Twitter and jump into the sandbox, hashtag F2B, because every single show we run through a couple of thousand tweets per show. And the conversations that are there on Twitter are absolutely amazing. So come on over, join in on the conversation. I keep Twitter live in front of me during the show. Also, we have not one but two chat rooms. We have the Spreaker chat room and we have the KGRA chat room. So you can go and hang out there with everybody and listen to the show live and just, comment on the topics and what's interesting to you. And that's what you do when, especially today. I think that a lot of networks out there, both television and radio, understand what is going on. There isn't the line in the sand that there used to be, right? Well, radio was just radio. There was no visual to it. TV was just TV, and there was no radio to it. And then you throw in all of this other multimedia and social platforms into the mix, and suddenly we have all of these other aspects that are tied to the show where you can participate. Years ago, and it's still this way today, but the only way that you could interact with the radio was calling for free tickets to go see Foreigner, right? Whatever. Caller number 10. And even that was recorded. That wasn't even live. They would record your little thing and they would edit it down. And, you would have your conversation with the DJ, and then they would broadcast it a few minutes later and acting like it's a live call, right? And you go, you just won tickets to Foreigner. You can enjoy the show. Yeah, I can't wait. And then that's it. That's all they played. You yapped for 5 minutes. But all they played back was, I can't wait to go see Florida. They're my favorite. So anyway, today, it's all of these different ways to interact and not only ask me questions, but questions of the guest or interact with the audience, who become your friends. That's the best part of Fade to Black. And we did all of this because of you guys. You guys out there, the audience, created this mess, right? That is turned into all of this. Yeah, Mark out in Australia, it just says, "What is the sandbox?" and it's great. So now we have this huge interactive audience coming at me from all directions, including the phone calls, which are live, right? Okay. All right. So tonight, radio host Tim Ray, who now is he's doing all of this now, too, with his show. I mean, there was the old days of radio, and then there's now. And he's out in Atlanta where they broadcast from, and who will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. There you go. So the sandbox on Twitter is #F2B. If you have any questions or comments during the show tonight or any other night, #F2BQ. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And if you haven't officially done it, you can go now and register for OnStellar, onstellar.com. Go and register. Use the promo code Jimmy. Register. That'll go to your email, the normal registration process. You're going to go and verify. You're going to go back. You're going to log in. And then you get to get your username. Yeah. Is that Foreigner? That's funny. Popped up in Twitter. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it officially right now on this show. I've said this so many times. I think one of the greatest singers and frontmen in the history of rock and roll was Lou Gramm. Well, he's still around. But Lou Gramm at his peak in Foreigner was as great of a singer as anybody. I put him up there with Ronnie James Dio. I am serious. Lou Gramm had the rock and roll pipes. Man. All right, thank you for posting that Lou Gramm picture right there. I can't believe I just said that. I did. I don't care. No shame in my game. I like Lou Gramm. He was amazing. So go register for OnStellar. Use the promo code Jimmy. Yes, it's running away. You can see what has happened since we launched it last night at midnight. Incredible. And it's getting ready to take over the world. OnStellar, the next online social media platform. OnStellar.com. The E-City Roadshow is going up the West Coast. And if you want to go and hang out with the good folks over at ECETI and Ashley, click on the banner over at jimmychurchradio.com and check out their schedule. Our next event will be June 1st through the 4th, 2018. Contact in the Desert, Indian Wells, Palm Springs at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. Click on the... Now, I think there is... I'm going to do this tomorrow night. I'll announce this to everybody. We have a special promotion right now that's going on for Fadernauts and Contact in the Desert. So we are able to extend the early bird specials that ended last week, right? But we have a special for you guys, and I'll announce that tomorrow night on the air because you're a Fadernaut. That's what's most important. And then, of course, our Soul Tech Gathering, which is up at ECETI Ranch, August 9th through the 12th. Just go to the soultechgathering.com site, and you can click on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com and get your tickets for that. We're only selling 300, and it's going to sell out here very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Over 800 archive shows, just $2 a month. Click on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also become an official Fadernaut in our membership section over on the site. You can get autographed T-shirts and hats and commercial-free downloadable archives, whatever you would like to do. It's all right there in our membership section. And you get the bunker cam. I'm waving at it now. I'm waving. Hello, everybody out there. All right. Speaking of interactive, right? Radio never had cameras in the studio, right? And now it's everywhere. And I've got these cameras and these blue lights staring at me. So I always have to wear clean clothes and pants is the bottom line. All right, let's get this show cracking. Don't forget all of our sponsors, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma. Chip Paul from New Pharma is going to join us in just a second. He's actually here. He's on hold. Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana, Food Storage, and Bearing Optics. All of their promo codes and information is over at jimmychurchradio.com. Happy birthday to today. Billy Crystal is 70 years old. And Billy Crystal will always make our birthday list because of one thing and one thing only. And it's not because he blew hosting the Oscars. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the movie Spinal Tap, where he plays the mime. That's right. And as a mime, you don't talk. But in this, he did. And he had one of the best quotes in movie history. Mime is money. Billy Crystal, happy birthday, 70 years old. Producer Quincy Jones today is 85. And actor Michael Caine is 85 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today, Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, died at the age of 76. And all you have to say is E equals MC squared. That is all. Happy birthday, Albert. On this day in history, OTD, 1958, the Recording Industry Association of America, the RIAA, awards its first gold record. Now, you think, 1958, that must have gone to Elvis Presley, right? Nope, did not. It went to Perry Como for Catch a Falling Star. Fader fact. In the late Middle Ages, books were so valuable that libraries would chain them to the bookcase. That's right. That's a Fader fact. And this was widely practiced all the way into the 18th century. And that is a Fader fact. I think I've been to a few libraries that had the books still chained. Yeah, it's another story. Tonight, very special guest, radio host Tim Ray is joining the show. And so we're going to have a great conversation tonight with Tim on, we're going to go paranormal. We're going to go consciousness. We're going to go current events and what stirs his life. How did he get into this business? Right? We're going to do all of that tonight with Tim. Tomorrow night, John Rappaport is here. It's Fader night with his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines all night long. And right now, I would like to welcome back to the program our good friend, the one and only Chip Paul from New Pharma. Chip, good evening. How are you?
Great, Jimmy. How are you tonight? I got all wrapped up in nostalgia. You talking about old radio? Got thinking about Johnny Fever.
WKRP.
Yeah. We were talking about the Foreigner Quick contest. It reminded me of an old show where they did the quick splice, right? 12 quick songs, and first caller got it right off the bat.
Howard Hessman. That's right. That was a great show. And sorry to have, even, it doesn't matter if it's Friends or if it's MASH or, pick X-File. Every show that is like that's great, always comes to an end. And you wouldn't think that, but WKRP was one of those, great shows, and it came to an end. I loved it. You remember the episode with the turkeys that they were throwing out of the helicopter?
I think that's my most classic TV show that I recall. It was a hilarious episode.
Yeah.
Oh, the humanity.
The humanity. And see, this is the thing. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. Throwing 25-pound frozen turkeys out of a helicopter into a crowd on Thanksgiving. Yeah, Les Nesmith. That was his name, Les Nesmith. I'm watching everybody here on Twitter is right with us on the WKRP. But what are they throwing out of the helicopter? I think they're frozen turkeys.
Yeah, they're frozen turkeys.
Oh, man. Man. Chip, man, it's always good to hear your voice, and it was great to hang out with you last month right here in Los Angeles at the Conscious Life Expo. And the audience knows you from New Pharma, and that's great. That's great. But you're actually a mad scientist, and you are here for humanity, trying to figure out how to get nutrition and herbs, and that's science. What is it? Is that an herbologist?
I don't really know what I am. I'm just an odd fella, Jimmy.
But today an herbologist is somebody that knows about weed. That's somebody that works at a pot shop. I think that's an herbologist. But what do you're a mad scientist, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a classically trained mathematician, I guess, but I'm really I'm a researcher, and I'm just a why guy. Things fascinate me, but for some particular reason, herbs and how they resonate with the body, just as you said, I mean, it's almost like my calling. It feels like it's something that I was just kind of designed to almost discover and then pass on and really educate. But you kind of hit the nail on the head. I really feel like that is my calling. But, what I've done is I've really tried to educate myself on something that we all have called the endocannabinoid system. And again, everybody immediately, kind of triggers when you say that word to cannabis. But really, the endocannabinoid system has nothing to do with cannabis. It really has to do with how we regulate our body. And every researcher here now is heavily agreeing that the endocannabinoid is your master regulatory system. So it's if you equate us to a vehicle, it's like the brain and the kind of operating system of your vehicle. That's the way the endocannabinoid system works. And it basically manages our homeostasis. So it's always trying to regulate our body to kind of perfect balance. Now, the interesting thing is it's a resource-driven system. And the other interesting thing is it's a system that we share with most life on the planet. So basically everything but insects has an endocannabinoid system. So we share this system with almost all life on the planet, and it's a resource-driven system. So, it isn't just fed by cannabis, I guess, is the important thing to realize. And, you don't see many cannabis-smoking reptiles. I mean, I remember a guy in college, I think he had a cannabis-smoking reptile, but, generally you don't see too many cannabis-smoking reptiles. So we feed this system in other ways. and we feed it basically by plants. We feed it by plant-based flavonoids. In general, it's really cool. We need kind of certain precursors for different aspects of our body. But for the endocannabinoid, it's very specific what we need. And it turns out that we're so malnourished in this system. If you think about if you had a master regulatory system and it was responsible for your immune response, and we didn't have nourishment for it, where would we break? And we would break statistically right along the lines that we see in our population. So we'd break along the lines of inflammation, and that's the leading cause of death in the United States. And we'd break along, the lines of basically some sub things under that, but, pain management, autoimmunes, things like that. So, and that's exactly what we see statistically.
Now, before we get back to the endocannabinoid system, I need to make a correction. It turns out it wasn't frozen turkeys. They were live turkeys that were thrown out. Yeah, okay. and see, I think that's the Mandela effect. My memory says they were frozen turkeys, but the other half of the audience is saying that they were live turkeys, and they're giving me the quotes from the show here. Okay, back to the endocannabinoid system. I'm holding up. Wow. I'm holding up your relief to the camera, and the relief, which is a pain relief tincture, drop that I take. And when we speak about something like this, does the relief work through your ECS?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, and again, we have to be kind of careful what we say, because again, we claim nutritional effect. And, as soon as you start saying, oh, you can medicinally affect the body, we get into kind of, now we're talking about our stuff as a medicine. Now, interestingly, though, our relief product, and I'll kind of apologize for going a sideways way to answer your question, but I kind of have to put in that disclaimer. But interestingly, our relief product is something that we're seeing such good results with that we're really walking toward actually that path. So we're putting everything through the rigors that we need to begin to explore things with the FDA to actually open it up as kind of a medicine. So, that's very exciting for us, and seeing, such good results. But to answer your question directly, it's very interesting the effects that plants have on the endocannabinoids. So if you look at the ingredients in something like our relief product, we've got white onion, and white onion has a flavonoid in it called quercetin. Quercetin actually kind of sideways is an endocannabinoid effector. What it does is it causes cells to overexpress CB1 neuroreceptors. So it basically creates more CB1 surface area to deal with. Now, again, we're not talking about the CB1s that get you high. Those are in your brain, right? And those are affected by THC. We're talking about the CB1s that you have in your gut, in your liver, all throughout your body. And that's what we're trying to affect more than head effect. So white onion has that effect. And then we use something called red clover. Now, red clover, and again, this gets a little scientific, but it's pretty easy to understand. So red clover has a flavonoid in it called biochanin A. Biochanin A affects basically the thing that gates the reaction time at CB1. So it affects something called FAAH, and it inhibits the uptake. FAAH is what controls reaction time at CB1. So you can actually make things react longer at CB1 with something like red clover. Now, to someone who uses cannabis, red clover would be something that would kind of enhance a CB1 experience, interestingly. But we use it more for medicinally in the relief product. Now, we have other plants in there that have flavonoids in them that affect other things. But the strategy is to basically affect the neuroreceptors associated with the endocannabinoid system. And again, we think we do that in a nutritional way, But we certainly are seeing some very, very interesting results.
And what I think is great, and the more that I have found out about the ECS, and again, I always connected those words with pot. Everybody does, because that's what it says, right? But the more that I find out about it and the corrections that you have helped me do with my ECS and Rita and our family, we've got our parent, we've got everybody taking foundation. Hey, you know what, Jimmy? I got a hangnail. Foundation, dude. You got to get on the foundation. Really? Yeah. Whatever. I don't care what ails anybody. Foundation. If you straighten out your ECS and get it operating correctly, your body is now a well-oiled machine. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, our argument is we're malnourished in this system. And what happens when you're malnourished, in basically the system that's your master regulatory? Well, you dysregulate. So, where you dysregulate kind of depends on, all of us genetically. But, generally it starts in the gut. We have gut dysregulations. But, we break down to autoimmunes and all kinds of things. Now, in our world, that's malnutrition. And again, it's almost like kind of throwing, steak to a starving person. Your body just almost readily absorbs these nutrients that it needs to properly regulate you.
Right.
So our foundation, that's exactly what our foundation product is, and that's kind of what you're hitting on, is we try to give you, it's kind of our multivitamin of regulatory, things. But yeah, you're exactly right.
And for everybody out there, when they used the promo code F2B for you, and thank you for that, by the way, and you've been doing this promotion for a long time for the Fadernauts, what happens with that promo code?
So they basically get our product at wholesale cost. So they're getting it at third off. That's about the best possible deal we can do at the retail level. And it can't last forever, because we are kind of beginning to develop as a company, and we wanted to do it for the Fadernauts because we needed evangelists, for our product, and your community has just really, really kind of helped us launch, and we're very, very grateful for that. But one thing I do want to say about our website, we have like multiple retailers, now. And so if you go to our website, there's a button that you click that says, buy here now or where to buy. It's up at the top right-hand corner of the website. But any of our partners will honor the F2B code and will honor the deal that we have, with you, Jimmy. So.
Oh, thank you so much, Chip. You're the best. And again, I recommend the foundation for everybody, and all of the new pharma products are great, but the ECS is so important, and the foundation helps you get back on track. And the changes that I have seen in myself, I can't express it enough, and it's because of you. So thank you so much, Chip, and be safe and be well out there.
All right. You too, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's Chip Paul, everybody, from New Pharma. New Pharma, GNU Pharma. The links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com. And just like Chip just said, all of his retailers, everybody out there will honor that F2B when you are ordering New Pharma. You're going to get 33% off of your order. And that's wholesale pricing because you're a Fadernaut, and Chip Paul loves all of you. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with our guest tonight, radio host, United Intentions, Tim Ray. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that, life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple. At JChurchRadio on Twitter. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. Starting with their Super Strength Tea, we use Life Change Tea products every day. Everybody is on the program here at Fade to Black. Friends, family, staff. Just use the promo code FADER, FADER, and you will get free shipping. And you can also use that same promo code with Ancient Life Oil. Okay. Tim Ray is not here with us yet, and I'm not sure what is going on with that. You know, he's a professional. So I'm wondering what is going on out there at Hotlanta. But I am trying to raise him right now. So I'm going to read, I'm going to go through. Let me do this. Tim Ray began his career as an entrepreneur in the senior care industry and eventually opened multiple businesses. After spending years of working tireless hours and going about everyday life, he eventually realized that he wanted more and he truly wanted to make the world a better place. So in 2009, He founded the United Intentions Foundation, a nonprofit foundation to assist others in learning how to transform worrisome thoughts into positive intentions. Now, he also hosts a radio show where he interviews thought leaders from around the world. He helped create tools, programs, and resources to help people attract what they truly desire. His website is unitedintentions.org. And there you go. So I'm waiting for Tim to come in. I was hoping I would get him in before the intro was done. And I don't have Tim. I don't know what's going on with could be connections. So I'm going to continue to reach out and see if I can pull him in here as soon as possible. Now, okay, so while we're waiting for Tim, I want to go over to OnStellar and talk about this really quick again. The response. There we go. Tim, welcome. Where were you?
Oh, I was actually waiting for you to call me, so here I am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's interesting. But nonetheless, welcome to the program. And what's great here tonight, Tim, is you get the first-time guest disclaimer. Right. So, the next time you're on the show, you're not going to get it, but you get it tonight, which is this. It's just you and I sitting on my couch talking as friends. Where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. You ready to go?
Rock and roll.
That's what I'm talking about. I mentioned at the top of the show that when I have another host on that, host their own program, for me, I'm able to take the night off because it's host to host and we both understand what it takes, to do a show. And I'm able to just enjoy myself and kind of kick back a little bit and let that happen. But there's another interesting part about having a host on. A host tends to be at the center of the known universe and their universe. You're interviewing people. You have all of this information coming at you from all directions on different subjects and from different backgrounds. And the news comes to you and email, and you have all this information flooding in. And I think that's one of the great things about having another host on the show, because I get to pick their brain on what is influencing them on their show and what they see these trends are. So before I go to your background and how you got into this, what is driving your show lately? What is the audience interested in, and the guests that you have on the show? Do you see any trends in the world?
Absolutely, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. In fact, I can't even read books anymore. I really can't. In fact, what I do now, because I do shows every day as well, and it's almost like I'm reading, or it's an audio. I'm having an audio book experience, but it's interactive with my guests, whether they're on Skype or they're in person, and I'm learning so much, and my brain's expanding because I'm like you. I'm getting like a whole variety from information, and and what we do on our show, on the Good Intention Show. We have about 8 different hosts now on the UI Radio Network. We basically, I talk about people living an intentional life. People are kind of tied to source, or understanding source, and living and doing the good right thing, or doing a healthy thing in life, whatever that may be, as sharing information. And so what I'm kind of, everybody matches frequency. Everything's vibration and frequency, as you know. And it's when I see that people waking up now to a like the pretentiousness of what people were looking for in the past seems to be sliding out, and I see more people are living a more authentic life. So I see more real, more important, more authentic items coming up, whether they're trying to share a book with something about life coaching, or if they're coming in with they don't care, they're not scared anymore, they're not fearful of talking about a UFO or an alien or the Illuminati or whatever else may be going on. People are finding their courage. This is what I'm finding and I'm seeing, and it's motivating me to find my courage to face what we consider, certain truths that we may not want to say, or people or society's not ready to hear yet. And I see it at a collective, at least the people I'm interviewing. And we get into everything from the paranormal to channeling to, pedophilia, satanic, CIA, you name it. We talk about it. At the same time, we always tie it back to the good intention? How does it reflect into us internally and how we perceive things and how we create our reality, and what can we do with this information now? So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a leveling up, people stepping up into their own power. Collectively. I mean, are you experiencing that too?
Well, see, and I think where you're going with this is, to change your own reality. And you did just that. I mean, you come from a business background, and now you are a radio host that is trying to do your part in changing the world and attitudes and thoughts and knowledge. So that's creating your own reality, too, as well. You did it for yourself. Why did you decide that there's an epiphany that happens? Why did you decide to make these changes in your own reality?
Yeah, great. And one thing I want to say, too, Jimmy, love what you do. And I love your new community, by the way. I just joined today. If you guys have a chance, it's onstellar.com. Join it. It is amazing. I still have to kind of go through a few steps on there, but it's this is the time for these type of communities, for like-minded souls to really match frequencies and share. And, come on, who wouldn't want to talk about a paranormal community?
Right. No doubt.
But what motivated me, like I've from a younger age, always been gathering information and trying to, define my reality, trying to define what is this, where I came from, where I'm going, and more so while I'm here, what am I experiencing? And so I went from a route of religion to general to metaphysics to the point where I can't even define God or God is all there is, only because the more I try to define it, I don't know what's going on. And I got lost, not so much lost, but I just got really engaged in this three-dimensional world of the career path. And I started a senior care business as a nurse in nursing homes, worked my way up the career ladder to regional director, then vice president of operations for a $100 million company, traveling all over the country and doing what I'm supposed to be doing in my monkey suit. And then I'm like, wow, this is what it's like up on top here. This is no different.
Yeah, you're supposed to be living the dream, right?
Yeah, the dream. Yeah, where to go? And so then I decided I had an opportunity. I had it out with the CEO, and I, at that point, decided to go on my own business. And then I had an opportunity to do this foundation. But what interesting point was, I got to I know better. I always knew better, even when I was a teenager, about how our thoughts create our reality to a certain degree. And I started connecting the dots when maybe in my early 20s that, wow, thoughts come first, feelings come first. Then I experience these things. And once you really kind of connect that and you have that moment of realization, whoa, what I experience doesn't create my thoughts. My thoughts create what I experience. And it's an empowering moment in your life. And you could almost go back to like when JFK was killed or when, the Trade Centers went down. You have this moment, like you really shifted everything in your life. Like, I can't be a victim anymore. I create everything in my life, good and bad. Whoa, what's going on here? And even with having that revelation at a younger age, I still got lost into the rat race, as they say. And I got to the point I was just trying to figure politics out and watching the news and getting it all into the disinformation as we know what it is as today. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to a point, Jimmy, I was either going to build a bunker and go live in it, or I was going to build this foundation and really change the world for the better, because I couldn't take it anymore. I was just, wow, even me, who I feel always pretty strong and confident with my understanding and quote unquote wisdom or enlightenment to whatever degree, which is interesting in itself, still subjected to this bombardment of negative stinking thinking. And as you know, we have over 70,000 plus thoughts a day, and from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, and the majority of them are either negative or repetitive. And you're dealing with your subconscious mind, which runs the show. It's 30,000 times more powerful than our conscious mind. So here the odds are against us, and then you pile on this sympathetic nervous system promoting energy machine of the news or of the entertainment, or just focus on having fun, just focus on this, don't worry about anything deeper or more meaningful or discipline or anything else in life or what it takes to get somewhere. And we were talking about that earlier, is you just don't realize what people do to get somewhere, how the steps you got to take, the sacrifices you got to make, right? And so I said, you know what, I'm doing the foundation. I'm for myself, my own sanity. I said, well, as an entrepreneur, I'm going to try to figure out how I could help others at the same time. And it was kind of like you build it and they come type of dream a field of dreams type of situation, and that's where we are now. I mean, it's remarkable. It's just when you level up, I call leveling up and matching frequencies that you've never really seen before. You start attracting the most interesting people. Look, I'm talking to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black right now.
Yeah, and I totally dig that part of it. And not only with your life and others that choose to do the things that finding your bliss is critical, because once you find your bliss, everything else changes. Your attitude, your vocabulary, your diet, your friends, things, you see the world, it's in this technicolor panchromatic thing that goes on, that then you look back. Once you get to that spot, you look back and you just, how did I survive in that cesspool? And it's really, really true. And you're talking about being around like-minded, frequencies and everybody on the same page. Once your world is surrounded in that, you get it and you understand it because everybody else does too. And then you see those changes, and it's gradual. It doesn't happen overnight. But once you start to taste it and feel it, it's just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. You can do all those things. You can still do the bad things. you can. And even
playing in the darkness, playing in the darkness.
Yeah, playing in the darkness is more fun, right? So yeah, absolutely. You can still eat bad food. You can beer and chilled vodka tastes sweeter when you found your bliss, man. It tastes foul when you're in the darkness, and you haven't made those changes. But it is so true. I wanted to ask you your attitude on the air, which I find very enjoyable, but adapting into the broadcast world is not an easy one. Did you go to school for it, or did you just jump in and learn on the fly?
A great question, because, it's just learn on the fly. I started the foundation, and it's all about waking people up to their power of their intentions, right? We had this online community like you have now where people could go on and learn how to, create, track, and manifest intentions, experimenting with the power of intentions and the law of attraction, right? So that was pretty much our fundamental aspect of what we were doing. And we really need to kind of get the word out here, because it's such a great, we convinced it was such a great information and a community where people could, really, really level up. And we didn't have really outside of typical marketing, we didn't have really a mode to really get information out. So this one of our friends, Anne, she came over and she did this little podcast, and she was just doing a live podcast. And I'm like, well, normally people just do recordings like that, but let's just do, and I never was on the radio or did this at all ever. And this is only a handful of years ago, Jimmy. This is like maybe 3-4 years ago. And so she said, let's just do a live interview. And I just did a live interview. And I'm like, and she's like, wow, you're pretty good. I'm like, wow, I was pretty good. I had no idea. And then from this point on, all I like doing is live interviews. I don't know why. I think that part of me is almost like our principal part is, I'll do recordings when we need to. And of course, you got to edit and all that stuff. But we live in such a world that live doesn't exist in our media, mainstream media, doesn't exist in our communications and entertainment in movies. Everything's so packaged perfectly that you don't look at the human error, the human aspect of making a mistake or saying something or whatever the case may be, or maybe saying your truth and not have to somebody cut it out, right? Mm-hmm. So on principle alone, I love doing live shows just for the fact it's like riding a motorcycle with the wind blowing in your hair, right? It's freedom. It's live. It's free. You could say what you want. You don't have to, worry about how it's going to come out or whatever the case may be, but you share it, and there it is. It's live right there. You're watching it, and I think to me that's really a big motivation for why I do it. And it could always improve. I'm sure I could probably take some acting lessons, send me somebody who could help me not say us all the time or certain pauses. But to me, it is something that I just fell into, and I love it. I really do. I'm sure I wish I had your voice though, Jimmy. I mean, that would make it.
Yeah. See, this is the thing with that is if you went back to school for broadcasting right now in radio, you've been doing it for too long now that it would probably change you. When I went, and I had thoughts of radio for a couple of decades, so I was always practicing in my mind and imagining how I would set up a show. But when I got in there, and the director of one of the directors at the school said to me, he goes, "Okay, all right, yeah, you got pipes," but and I was like, "Okay, hey, I need to get a gig. Let's get through school here so I can get." He's like, "You know what? It's going to take about 2 years of practice, and then we'll get you out there for some auditions." I'm like, "Dude, I ain't got that kind of time." Right? I got things to say now.
I got to make money.
Yeah. Well, I just had things to say. So anyway, but what they said to me was absolutely right. I didn't hit my stride for a long time. It takes a while to figure out who you are. And that was a shocker for me. Now, and I think about where I'm at now, it's not about being professional or no, that's not even the point. It's the ability to connect your brain to your lower jaw and to just have yourself come out, and don't be somebody else and try to be, you don't go down that road. Who you are at a party, who you are sitting around a campfire telling stories and hanging out with your friends, that's who needs to be on the microphone, not somebody that you built up in your head that you've listened to over the years. And that's where that's what you have to get rid of. And I had to get rid of that. Right. The way that I'm talking to you right now is the same person you're going to get at dinner. My wife hates it. She hears this voice 24 hours a day. We're in the supermarket, Tim, and I'm like, "Hey, honey, you want to get Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch, or do you want to get Crunch Berries today?" That's the voice, right? And I know it's nails on a chalkboard for her.
Right.
But I had this voice when I was 5. I had this way of speaking. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change that part of it. But you don't want to be somebody that you're not. This is just me, and I can tell that it's just you coming out of the mic. I wanted to talk. Let's change gears a little bit, because we're going to be talking about United Intentions and frequencies and reality for the rest of the show. It's one of the most fascinating subjects that we deal with here too as well. But the paranormal and UFOs and ufology now has been in the mainstream media going back to December, when all of this, Days of Disclosure launched in the mainstream media. What do you think about that? What do you think about the way that the mainstream media was handling the UFO subject this time around? Certainly they didn't have problems airing it, but what do you think about their attitude about it?
Well, when they kind of often do it in a joking manner, or they'll compare it or set it up next to something where, get your tinfoil hat on, and here we go. But yet it's such a serious matter. But the fact that they showed it though on mainstream really kind of blew my mind, in the sense, wow, they're finally coming out. And even though you don't you would think it would be on every day, right? Every day. Wow, hey, they UFOs, and they're saying, they're admitting that they're there, and it goes in one end and it's gone, or there's people like you said, like you said on my show, which I share this all the time with everybody. If a spaceship came down off Peachtree Road right now and right in the middle of traffic, and there would of course be media camera, as you were saying, out there, but eventually some guy's going to get out of his car and say, "Hey, move this freaking thing. I got to get home to my house." And, so I don't even know if it's really going to, that matters from that perspective, because it's just, we're so caught up into this matrix and believing what's going on. And I believe, I'm sure, I think you do too, is that, this is nothing new. I mean, I think here we are watching, all these different channels talking about the UFOs and the spaceships. And I know you've seen one too, but come on, man, let's advance the conversation. Let's talk about these underground these underground places. Let's talk about Dulce. Let's get to these places, what's going on down there. Let's get to the cloning. Let's get to the secret space station. We had Billy Carson on a little while ago, and I was talking to Clyde Lewis about the underground stations. I mean, let's talk about stuff where you can't go into that other people can. And you know what? It's okay. You don't have to have proof. You don't have to be there to experience it. You could just, circumstantial evidence is enough proof to put people in jail. So why can't circumstantial evidence be enough to share that, hey, there's maybe something going on that's maybe insidious, or something going on that may be great, or whatever. But we need to advance the conversation past there seeing an object in the sky, because, I mean, you have powerhouses out there. As you know, Bill Cooper talked about this process back in the 50s, right, in the 60s, and saying that, hey, we had two group of aliens come down here. First group said, they're really great. They want us to get rid of our nuclear war, and they're not going to share technology with us, and they're going to want us to do the right thing for the planet Earth. And we said, we'll take a pass. And the next group came down and said, hey, you keep all your stuff you want. We don't care about that. Do whatever you want. We just want to, experimental things, And so what if we are in a situation, we have these aliens here that are perhaps maybe, not as nice as perhaps we would hope that alien race would be when you come into making first contact at in a new land or a new globe somewhere, right? So I love to talk on that level. I love to go further than just seeing this UFO. The close encounters of the first kind. Come on, let's get to the 6th, 7th, 8th kind. Let's go a little further and see where we really are. And I know you talk about that all the time, which I love.
Well, what's interesting with that is and you just touched upon this, the mainstream media pushed this out there so far and so wide that if there was going to be a global freakout, the opportunity was there for that. They put it out there. It was everywhere. UFOs are here. The Pentagon. Here we go. Here's the footage. Here's this. And you know what? The reaction from the world was pretty vanilla.
Yeah, it's a drip campaign. It's a drip campaign.
Yeah, it was fascinating to me. Nobody wrecked their cars. Nobody drove off the roads. Nobody jumped out of buildings. They didn't burn the Vatican down. None of that happened. And according to all of these reports that were written over the years about, the collapse of religions and economic systems and Wall Street and the calamity and, the Hawa, and all that, it didn't happen. And certainly it was out there. You can't say that it wasn't in the news. It was.
Let me tell you my philosophy, Jimmy. This is what I think is going on. Because two things that you're not supposed to talk about is politics and religion. So you're looking at beliefs, serious religious beliefs, and politics beliefs. And you start going deep into that, you'll get some pushback from the powers that be, and all their little agents and Mr. Smiths out there to some degree. But I think so is because they're going to have to be in charge of dripping the alien variable into our society. Because if they don't, of course, somebody else will. But if they're actually doing it in their way that people don't disengage from the matrix with their beliefs and the politics, then they could keep people still engaged in the matrix and still get their understanding of what UFOs are. And if there are these negative entities that's already involved with humanity, whether underground, in outer space, interacting on the ground, wherever it may be, and they're trying to wake up people to that, and where other maybe perhaps more benevolent aliens or entities could be coming in and maybe make us think that they're not so good. So if they're controlling the matrix here, I would, if I was them, I would do a drip campaign. I'd get people aware of what's going on with the aliens, and I would say, hey, listen, these are good aliens, hint, 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 and listen to what they're saying. They're going to cure. They're going to give us free energy. They're going to give us, you're not going to have illness anymore. We're going to use scalar energy to cure viruses and whatever it may be. But yet, are we still caught into the matrix that they're then setting up for the next step? Because people like us who are always pushing the edge, going to the collective and being that paradigm shifter and trying to move it another inch out, stretch it one more little rubber band a little bit before it breaks, right? Are they capturing us in the matrix when we do this too? So, I mean, you could go really that deep down that rabbit hole, but I think everyone needs to be at this point, as David Icke says, you got to be very open-minded and light on your feet in these times, because what's upside down could be right side up. What's sideways could be the other way. You're just going to have to develop that intuition, that power of that intention, power of source in you to vet out what you believe is true or not. Because I say question everything. And whatever you're saying, this is my motto, and you probably agree with me on this. And I honestly tested. I'm probably about 80 to 90% accurate. Whatever I hear in the mainstream media, I just take the opposite. So if they say bomb Iran, Iran's bad, Iran's good. We'd be nice to Iran. Russia is horrible. Russia's good. I just do the opposite of what they say, and I have to say about 80-90% of the time I'm correct.
That's exactly that's my motto right here. I've got it framed on the wall. Flip it over 180 degrees, and you get closer to the truth. Our guest tonight, radio host, United Intentions, Tim Ray is with us. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's simple. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. We'll be right back. More Tim Ray after this. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's do this. Tonight, radio host, United Intentions, Tim Ray is with us. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. That's right, it's dark and it's smoky. Yeah, man, 15% off of your order with the promo code F2B Blend. Just go over to jimmychurchradio.com, click on that banner. I love my coffee. And Tim, are you a coffee drinker?
No, I tried it for a while, and I just, I'm naturally one of those high energy guys where if I drank coffee on a regular, unless I was studying for an exam, I had to stay up all night, I'd be climbing the ceilings every day.
Right. Yeah, I hear that from people, and I get it. Everybody's chemistry is different. I understand that. Me, man, it's the taste. It's the ceremony, right? You get up and you're grinding beans with your significant other first thing in the morning, the ceremony. Yeah. Can't take that out of my life. No way. Put a little
Bailey's in it. Put a little Bailey's in it and get my attention.
Well, yeah. Now, see, dance in the dark, right? I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Staying on this UFO subject. With what has been going on in the mass media, To the Stars released this Go Fast video over the weekend. I think it was on Friday. Again, the mass media picked up on it. They've got a good PR firm over there at To the Stars, so they release it, and the PR firm pushes it into the media, and they carry the story. What'd you see? Back to this video. Yeah. I'm not sure that they're getting the reaction out of the public and the mainstream media that they are expecting. When you saw this Go Fast video, did you freak out? I mean, was it what you expected? Was this a UFO from another world?
I've been watching stuff like that for 30 years now. I'm waiting for an alien pop up who's married to some human and on their own sitcom, but he's a real alien.
Right.
That would kind of get my attention at this point. So it's just the same, you see the ships going, yeah, you can look and you analyze, but my God, we've been doing this for years now. And people who are involved in this, in the industry, in watching UFOs. I mean, so to me, no, I need something, I need something a little more direct, maybe somebody's shapeshift in front of me or something where, whoa, that was cool. Do it again. So I would like to have that one-on-one experience rather than a close encounter of a first kind or let's move it up a little bit.
Have you had your sighting?
You know what, Jimmy, of all things, this is why I'm kind of an enigma. Because I don't even have any paranormal experiences, and I talk about spirit and channeling, and I channel Mother Mary. I mean, we have all different types of people coming on our shows, and I never had not one paranormal experience, nor did I ever have a UFO. And I was part of MUFON back in the day, and I was always looking for that, and I was also part of Parapsychological Institute, trying to chase down ghosts. So I never really had that. I don't know if I'm meant to. I think I'm meant to stay in this lifetime. I'm meant to just be concrete into the five senses at this point and be open-minded with that. And maybe that's more of a kind of a unique perspective these days than people who are developing their fifth sense or realizing that they're really playing in that and beyond our five senses here or extending their five senses. But no, I really haven't. And I don't have to have it to not believe it.
No, you're right, but I can fix that for you.
Really?
I can fix that for you, and this is the deal. So I'm inviting you out. Come on out. We've got a few different events that we do all year long, and we go out and do our things. You're absolutely invited. Come on out, and this is my guarantee. I'll put $100 on the table right now. Okay. Put $100 on the table that you will do 1 month of United Intentions broadcast about the experience that you have. You will not stop talking about it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They say there's no guarantees in life. Come and hang out with us. I'm just telling you.
And I'm taking you up on it, Jimmy, because I'm from Missouri, by my soul. So show me, right? So no, listen, I'm open. I'd love to have that experience. So what are you referring to? Just sightings, or what do you?
Yeah, well, see, we have had a ginormous amount of incredible sightings, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 different events or more over the last 4 years. Oh, wait a minute. So if we do that, let me think. We're probably pushing the number up now to probably 10 group sightings that we have had with 100 people with us, and when it goes down like that, I'm talking about some incredible stuff. Everybody's heard the green chrome ball story and stuff. I talked about that on Coast and thing. But there was one. Just imagine this for a second. Okay, this is what I need you to just picture this. We're out. We've got about 250 people. We're on the edge of this cliff. And this is last year. I think it was last year. I don't know if it was the year before. But anyway, standing out there with some people that you know, too, as well. We're all there. And up in the sky. Now, imagine when you look up in the sky and you see at night horizon to horizon, right? So if you put your arms out, you're looking at this big chunk of the sky, right? From hand to hand. Now imagine looking up and seeing a turquoise-colored ball craft that stutters and then lights up and then goes across the sky from right to left about, taking 3 feet out of the sky. It's not up very high, 5,000 feet. And it goes across and then stops, cuts down, and then continues to the left, making a Z, like Zorro. Now, and as it left, and it's going to the left, and it's going away, it like flashed its headlights, its high beams, and then took off. Now, I'm here to say,
wow.
What does that? I mean, taking up a chunk, and you should have heard the screams, the people yelling. And I remember there was this guy in front of me. It's dark, right? You can barely see people. And this guy in front of me goes, "It zigzagged, man," right? And I'm like, that was the craziest thing. And it just like stuttered and went whoop, whoop, whoop. It lasted about 2 seconds. And now, what does that in the sky? I don't know. I don't know. Is that our technology? Is it theirs? I don't know. But there you go. And if you were standing there and you saw, I'm going to tell you, Tim, that right now in Twitter, out of everybody that's tweeting, there's probably 10 people in Twitter right now out of the audience that were there that night. Okay. Wow. Oh, I'm reading right here. That was the most spectacular thing ever. Just came up in tweets. Right. I was screaming and jumping. Right. It was like that. And so, yeah, and you go and you see that. And I have now seen it so many times that I go out there for the fun of it and enjoy the moment. But the first time that it happens to you and you see something like this, it's amazing. So, yeah, absolutely. I invite you, just come on out, and I guarantee. Guarantee.
You have the remote control. How are you going to make this happen when I'm out there?
All I got to do is go, yo.
No kidding. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll throw down $100 or more on that, man.
It's worth it, man. You're going to lose it, but, it's worth it. You spend that much on a movie, so why not go out and...
real life, right? That's what's crazy too. People like this is our reality is more science fiction than science fiction could ever possibly be.
That's right.
And it's just like, wow, once you start engaging and you start leveling up, as I say, so many other things are attracted in your life. Like you, so apparently you're able to go to a similar place, and are you attracting that UFO? Is your intention attracting that UFO? How do you know it's not?
Yeah, right. There has to be some element of that. And I'm not I'm not saying it's me. What I mean is it's the group that is there. They're all happy, they're in a good mood. And I show up because I'm a doofus with a loud mouth, and the next thing you know, I've got a microphone and a PA system and a crowd of people. and I'm going to be who I am, right? Which is, the loud dude at the party that nobody wants to hang out with. I'm that guy. So, and you get everybody happy, and then suddenly things are happening. And I think that power of the mind, where you get everybody focused on that, there are things up there, like you say, the science fiction reality, that know that we're there, and they want to just drive by and honk their horn. And that's exactly what goes on. As crazy as that sounds, I don't even care anymore. I don't care. No. I don't care talking about it, because I've experienced it way too many times. It's so much fun.
Well, see, this brings a whole nother level of interesting conversation on too, because you just talking about it. Is it our intentions, the group? Is it a collective intention that is attracting them? Are you all now seeing? Have you expanded your visual band of sight? Expanded that now, so you could see something that's already there, and you could do that now. Are you doing that on a collective level? Is it that more energetic? And so I think a lot of people, like I talk to so many different people. This one guy, Michael Monk, on the show, he tells me he feels he actually called UFOs. You could see it. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of putting yourself into an altered state of mindset, or at least not so much in a high beta level, but more of a relaxed level, and all of a sudden, the frequencies of things appearing are more potentially able to occur. Back to the double slit experiments, collapsing the wave versus into matter versus when you're looking at something. And so to me, are we really creating our reality to the point where we, as an individual, and you co-create with your friends who are there, actually creating this UFO experience? And only you guys could see it at that point, unless other people are involved with you in that area, right? Mm-hmm. And there's that collective experience, or is it a totally separate experience from your creation, from your intention?
Right. And
that's a little confusing,
Yeah, well, it's probably a dose of both. It's probably a dose of both, because there is the other part of it where it's an accident. Right, where it's not intended, and something just shows up in the sky, and you weren't thinking UFOs. You're just driving your car or walking down a beach, and something happens. So that, which has happened to me as well. So it's probably a good shot of both. And what happens for those that are that sees something where nobody else does, that you're bringing up? I can't explain that when it happens, and I don't know why that is. We had a sighting, Rita and I, and I'm just going to make this brief. We've told the story many times, but Rita and I were driving. It's 10:30 at night, and this ball of light here in the valley. In Los Angeles, and this ball of light comes down in front of us, and what I thought crashed in downtown Van Nuys. I was expecting an explosion. Okay, I saw what I saw, and I immediately got on the phone and called MUFON, and I said, "Are the reports coming in?" Because I was thinking, this is downtown Van Nuys. We're talking about 1 million people. It's 10:30 at night. The valley is lit up. People are on the streets. This is downtown. There has to have been thousands of phone calls into the news, right? So, just a mass sighting. Nothing from MUFON. Now, you have to ask yourself, it wasn't in the news. I watched the news for the next week, checking the paper and searching on the web. There was no reports of anything. Now, you have to ask yourself, was that for me? Was that for Rita? How could it be that nobody else saw this? And it was big, and I can't explain it. So was that singular? Was that meant just for us? I don't know. Why nobody else saw it? That just doesn't make any sense to me. And the more that I talk about it, the more I sound like a crazy person, but it doesn't change the event.
No, not at all. And it actually makes more sense to me, because as I go through trying to define my own reality and realizing I have the power of intent, And intention and thoughts and feelings are actual physical properties. There's properties to it. And a positive thought is much higher, faster frequency. Negative is much longer frequency, right? And so once we learn that intention is a thought, actually has no beginning or ending point. It's like a scalar energy. It's not A to B. It's A. It's immediate. Now we're dealing with creating our own reality and collectively, because if you believe you have a soul or a higher self or the part of you that's perhaps maybe using 100% of your brain, right, or conscious of it, whatever how you want to define that, perhaps that is way beyond any of these five senses that we have, that these limited five senses, from our visual to our audio to our taste, whatever it may be. Maybe that understanding of our five senses, or the limitation of our five senses, is allowing us to say, you know what? There's much more out there, and we're going to track that now in our life. And now we're leveling up. We're not even realizing. It's like a frog in the warm water. You don't realize you're actually creating your own reality and becoming more conscious of it. As you become more conscious of it, and starts expanding exponentially. And once we do that, and once we realize, where's the end here? Where am I now affected by the collective manifestation of consciousness? Is there a certain point I get to where I can only manifest individually, and then does a collective take over? I mean, these are the questions I ask myself all the time, trying to understand this formula of life, of living and manifesting in this law of attraction, and learning this flow in Gaia, in the world, and also in this energy that we're in. How can I master this formula? And how do I manifest hand over fist in this dense world that we live in? And I think some people manifest quicker than others. And I think because that there's a certain level of knowing. And as what you talk about too, when you know something, and you don't have to know the logic behind it, but you just know it. Like, in a little bit, this show's gonna be over, and you're gonna grab a cup of coffee, right? You just know that's gonna happen, whatever the case may be. And so you could pretty much say that you're gonna manifest that. And you have no doubt. And when you have no doubt, I think that manifests quickly into your life, whatever that may be. It can be something simple like that or something big. But when you think like, wow, I really want a Lamborghini, and in your conscious mind says, yeah, you want a Lamborghini, but your subconscious mind saying, hey, dope, you can't afford that. You could only have a Hyundai or something, And so here, there's not a knowing. There's doubt. And like in Neo, when there's doubt, you get shot. When you don't have doubt, you stop bullets, right? To what extent is that an individual creation? And what extent is that a collective creation? I don't know.
Yeah, and how do you practice that?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I love people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and one of the things that we practice on the site, you go on our site, unitedintentions.org, and you learn how to create, and then you could track it. And one of the principles that we use is Dr. Joe Dispenza's principles is repetition, expectancy, and meeting. So, you put your intention in the present format of your subconscious mind. Can only understand present, doesn't really understand anything else. And then you have a chance to repeat it and go there. You put pictures and videos of that intention, whatever it may be. And now you're adding more meaning to it. And you have expectancy. We created what's called an expectancy scale or intention scale. And it measures, what do you expect this intention manifesting in your life? Where are you? Are you at a definitely not likely, a maybe, a likely, or a definitely? And you have to be honest with yourself. Where do you think you are? And it's not just consciously where you are, but you also have to take into account your subconscious belief about that intention. Are you sabotaging it? Where do you believe you don't deserve that Lamborghini? So address that, and you have a chance to play with that on the site too. And so you bring this perfect storm of three principles that creates the state of being of where you are. And as you go forward every day, and and there's less doubt in that intention, and there's more knowing in that intention to occur in your life, that's when I think that magic point occurs, when we see how the quantum physics creates reality right in front of you. And I do silly things too. I mean, I'll do, like, I want to get piano lessons for my son, and I'm not going to go look at the yellow book or online, whatever it may be. And I don't look online. I just want to get intentions. And then all of a sudden I'm driving down my car, and I see back of a truck, hey, piano lessons, we come to your home. I mean, stuff like that. And what happens is you start connecting it. You start saying, wow, thought first, reality second. And then you'll do it again. I like to have maybe a free fall of $100. Don't tie expectation, meaning like you have to see it in a certain way. Just tie expectation that it's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And then boom, it appears. It's almost inevitable that it's going to happen, as long as you subconsciously intention agrees with your conscious intention, and it's in sync, I call it being in sync, you'll see that magic occur and that law of attraction bring that. And that I love experimenting and playing with, not only on our site, but you don't need the site really. I mean, it's a great little intro to get Step Up, but you could do it every day just with your thoughts and within your head, within your mind, and within your heart. So that part I love, and I think that's a good test for people to do. Start small and then start connecting it. And once you connect that I create my reality, perhaps co-create not only with others collectively, but with God, Goddess, all there is. I create my reality, and because of that, I'm not a victim anymore. I'm not going to blame anybody more. I'm not going to make excuses anymore, because if I do, then I'm not creating my own reality. I think somebody else is creating my reality. And one thing I want to say real quick here, Jimmy, about that aspect of it in with our media and people watching the news. I stopped watching the news all about maybe 6-7 years ago because I was tired of creating their intentions. They would tell me the intention, hey, it's going to be a terrible day today. We got bombing going on here. So I would then take that intention, bring it into my own, and make that, and to say that's true. I guess, it's going to be a bad day, right? And so I was creating their intention rather than I wake up in the morning and I create Tim Ray news. This is going to be my intention today. And I'll set that up, and where I don't care what other people say. I don't have to believe that, to the point where I know people, and I've seen people, they believe they do weather changes. They have such strong intention that they could change weather. And I seen one guy, Sky Chick, do that, where we were doing a, and you could say, well, coincidence or whatever, but he was doing a fire walk, and he said way beforehand, listen, I'll change the weather if it gets a little rainy. And it was starting to get a little rainy and a little dark. And he got the fire walking, running, and everything set up. We had a bunch of people there. And he just went out there, did a meditation, and it was amazing. It was like all of a sudden there's this little gap of clear sky, right? Stayed over us for a little while. People did the fire walk. And then when people were done, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, rain came back again. And so, was that just coincidence, or was that his power of his intention? Were we also feeding him to his intention because we believed him? So to me, it's such a remarkable world, just dealing with our thoughts and feelings and how that really changes and creates what we want to experience, or what we experience, whether we're aware of it or not. So we don't have to be conscious of our intentions. We could just go through life like we are, but that steering wheel is just going out of control, and wherever you end up is where you're going. Wouldn't you like to be able to control of where you're going? Well, then you grab your intentions and you start practicing that, and then you can start going where you truly want to go, not where life leads you.
What's funny about that is you're absolutely 100% correct. But in the 17th century, they would have called that witchcraft and burned you at the stake. Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Tesla, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you actually, got out a ledger and made notes of synchronicities and the things that you manifest intentionally and unintentionally, like you said, your son wants piano lessons, and you think about that, then the next thing you know, you see a sign. Right? Yeah. And you have never noticed it before, but there it is in front of you. Well, if you made notes of how many times that happens throughout the day, you would be shocked. And then the other part, and this is the most important piece to this puzzle, is you need to act on it when it happens.
Exactly. It is whatever the universe giving you, God giving you what you're asking for, and you're not even aware of it most of the time. And what's great thing about the site is you track it. You actually have a way to track that intention. You write in there, hey, saw a piano thing in there. Now you're actually look back at any given time years later and say, wow, look, I've been creating these intentions. And eventually you get to the point where you realize it. You click on it, realize, and you have a whole list of all your realized intentions versus all your intentions, your latest ones, the ones you want to create and manifest. So it's a kind of game you're doing. But what you're saying is so critical, Jimmy, that I don't think a lot of people understand. Once you really connect the dots, how you think and how you feel, your state of being ahead of time creates what this universe is going to manifest through the wave formatting into matter, dropping into matter, right? That is the magical part of this matrix that we live in. And if you start seeing things like Neo does, where it's not just this physical hard table, but it's this data, it's the green thing when he stopped the bullets finally, he gets it. This is not reality. This is a matrix game. And one of the answers, or one of the ways of maneuvering through this three-dimensional world, is the power of our intention. And our power of intention is everything when it comes to not only maneuvering this three-dimensional world, but creating whether we're going to have an experience or not. You know, one of the things I've been really into these last couple of years has been integrative medicine. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but, you know, people like Dr. Cowden, Dr. Sinatra, Dr. Mercola, these people are doing this homeopathic, more holistic type of medicine. Mm-hmm. And these world-renowned folks here. And we just, through a company I started with Kelly Gallagher called Jam and Planet, we just created this unprecedented event in Florida. It was called Doctors of Rock Awards, where we acknowledged not only those doctors, but doctors all around the world, a lot who have been disappearing the last 4 years, too.
Right. You know what? Actually, I need to take a break. So let's do that right here. I want to actually talk about that. Most media wants to avoid that subject like the plague, but the disappearing holistic doctors, way beyond coincidence. Our guest tonight, Tim Ray. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back. More with Tim after this. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Our guest tonight is Tim Ray. Pick up where we left off in just a second. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Pharma. We just had Chip Paul on the show earlier tonight. Go to newpharma.com and read about all of the science behind New Pharma, GNU Pharma. Promo code F2B will get you 33% off of your order. And go visit New Pharma today, right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Tim, back to the conversation. When this started to go down with the holistic doctors, and I started to read the reports that were coming in, I looked at it a couple of ways. I thought, okay, conspiracy stuff, probably not a part of reality, and that it was a sensational story. And then it just started to build and build and build, and I was reading, and the list started to get like ridiculously long. Now, and then I started to think, the job that nobody really wants right now is a holistic doctor. That's not the gig, and you certainly don't want to call yourself that, right? It seems like there was a target that was on their backs. This was a real situation. Is it still going on? It definitely wasn't as bad as it was the last 3 to 4 years, which, you're talking about Dr. Gonzalez, Dr. Bradstreet, where, Dr. Bradstreet, he shot himself in the chest and threw himself into a river, Right. That's a great way to kill yourself, right? And but the point is that I was in a room with 300 of these they call them functional integrative doctors, in a room, world-renowned doctors. I'm talking about, you have Dr. Mercola, Sinatra. I mean, you have really top docs, right? Right. Zach. We played one segment where we listed these 80 to 100 something doctors and practitioners who just either it was a suicide or straight out murder or no idea, they just disappeared. And we had Tom Petty's song playing, Don't Back Down, and their faces would be going up into the sky. This is all in our DVD series. Of course, we didn't play the song on the DVD series because we didn't have rights to it, but we played it at this Black Tie Affair. It was the first time these integrative doctors who are curing, really are reversing Alzheimer's, reversing MS, stuff that we're not allowed to know, right? And we represented and played, and there was not a dry eye. And this is up close and personal for these doctors. Dr. Cowden, they knew most of these doctors who are not here anymore. So these people know them, and this is as real as it can be. And, they don't know exactly, but, the word is the Pharma Hit Squad, perhaps in bed with the Murder Incorporated Defense Department. Who knows what actually the players involved? But the point is, they disappeared. They were murdered, many of them, and even people like Erin Elizabeth, who's probably one of the only person journalists out there reporting on this, who really knows a lot of what's going on. You could catch her on her site too. But this is because this type of, when you heal, you're threatening a large corporation, a large industry of pharmaceutical industry that makes billions, trillions over decades, right, on people being sick, because they only deal with symptoms. They don't deal with the wholeness of the body. They just deal with chemical responses. You get an antibiotic. No one tells you that the antibiotic napalms not only your good bacteria or your bad bacteria, but also your good bacteria. Where you didn't have to have that, you could have kept all that and done it in a much more less harmful, no side effect way. From every level. Imagine reversing Alzheimer's. They still don't know where it's coming from. Well, we kind of do. It's the metals. It's the chemtrails and the little nano-sized aluminums that we find now in our glyphosate food. It's the fluoride. It's the mercury in the vaccines. It's, we know what's going on, and it's called detoxing. And people have to learn how to detox, and you can start clearing out this inflammation in the body that's putting all this pressure on your immune system from this low-grade infection that's coming from in place because you have these new foreign objects, these metals in our body, in our brain, in our body, causing low-grade infections, causing inflammation, causing MS, causing all the immune system to break down, and then all these diseases, chronic illnesses, I should say, go crazy. These docs know, and they're curing, and they're reversing this with people, but Big Pharma doesn't want you to know there's much more than just chemical response. There's the bioelectrical response. A lot of people, European countries, know this, and it's crazy. And it's not as bad now, I think, because the gig's up. I think they played their hand. When I always say, when you got to use your power, you lose your power. They were so obvious of what they did
that it scared the hell out of people. And I was reporting on this myself when it was first going on, because I was like, this can't happen in America. You know, they're killing, you know, maybe the bad guys, or this is two CIA operative groups fighting each other, but they were killing good, honest people who are healing, who are discovering Nagalase and GCMF and the vaccines that nobody should talk about. That, you know, are they putting Nagalase, which is a cancer-causing agent, in the vaccines, that not telling anybody? Could they be? Is this why the doctors are being murdered? We don't know, because there's no formal investigation on it. And they're pretty well controlled, because they have people in these different morgues, you know, writing off what they're supposed to be writing off, not telling truly that, come on, who shoots himself in the chest and throws himself in a freaking river, right? You know, like, come on. You kind of get me more obvious than that, right?
Right.
So it is a bigger story, and I'm hoping that it's going to come out. And I hope, like this, we did this DVD series. We captured over 2 days of Get Your Life Back of these top docs around the world. I mean, traveled all around the world. We captured 21 hours of them sharing their secrets of how to reverse these things, you know, and what's really going on that you're not hearing in the mainstream media or in the pharma. And we also captured the big black tie affair of all the. I can't tell you, Jimmy, every doctor was who we awarded up there, had their awards. It was like a Academy style awards. Every doctor had got up there, had tears in their eyes, and standing ovations everyone, because these guys, as you said earlier, eloquently, they have targets in their backs. And these doctors who are alive, it's almost like surviving a war, Vietnam War in a way, in a much more milder sense here, because it's like, why me? Why am I alive? And why is Bradstreet or Dr. Gonzalez dead? You know, why? And so, and this is up close and personal, like I said. And so, something that story needs to be told. And we're releasing this. You could get pre-orders now. We're releasing this whole series in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be going viral. It's called GetYourLifeBackNow.live. You go there, and you can see for the first time people sharing their insights of healing people, top docs in the world. Healing people, and we all have it captured, and Kelly and I are releasing it with our team, and it is going to be remarkable, and it's going to change lives. It's going to be a game changer, you know, and that's why we started Gem and Planet, because it's a paradigm shifting, and it's going to change the integrative medicine and bring it out to where people in the millions can actually start healing themselves, because all healing is self-healing, no matter what the doctor or the big pharma is trying to tell you.
Yeah, I've always said there's a reason to go to the doctor or to the hospital. It's when you break your arm. Yeah, that's when you need a doctor. That's when you go and you get hooked up. You don't go to a doctor because of a TV commercial. Right? And I'm serious about that. I have a friend who's a doctor who medical doctor, family doctor, that changed into holistic medicine about 20 years ago. And this guy has been chased out of different states, right? He can't practice holistic medicine. It's just like, and for whatever reason, you know, the pressure comes down on him where he can't practice. And he's got to, you know, and now he's on like his fourth state now. Now he's given up the term. Yeah, he's dropped holistic from his websites, from his business. It's gone, and he's trying to do what he wants to do, but he can't carry that term anymore. He said it's frightening, the pressure that comes down on him from the authorities, from the government, from big pharma when you use that word.
It is criminal. I mean, Dr. Andy Wakefield was at our Doctors Rock Awards, and he got an award too. And Dr. Wakefield, what they did to him was, man,
he's an amazing guy. What a cool dude, man.
They took his they stripped his license because he actually was saying that the MMR vaccination can cause autism, and he didn't even say that. He just said that you don't group them all together, all these vaccines, because it's too much. And they just stripped his license. And this guy comes from 4 generations of physicians in his family,
right,
over England. I mean, this is an honorable family, and to do that was just devastating. Judy Mikovits was there. They stripped her license. I mean, when you're talking about, these people face the fire. I mean, they let their livelihood go, and becoming a doctor is no like, you know, getting a certification to, do plumbing or something. You talk about dedicating your life to healing people, right? And to lose your license because you spoke the truth. To me, that's why we honored them. And that's why there was not a dry eye in that award ceremony, because these people, for the first time in their history of their lives, Like Judy, people flew all over the world to come to this, and Judy Mikovits, this is the first time they're finally getting recognized. Dr. Cowden and Dr. Sinatra and all these guys are getting recognized for going through hell because of the mainstream media, mainstream media and big pharma all kind of colluded to put these people down, and then there's nobody supporting them. So they're uniting now, and I'll tell you what, these folks are in trouble. Who and there will be a count for these doctors who have been murdered and disappeared. There will be a count. And I'm telling you what, it's not going to be able to push it over now because they have created martyrs with these docs, and more people are talking about it every day, and every day is happening. And I'm glad, because there has to be a certain level of three-dimensional justice, I call it. I would say karma is spiritual justice, and I always believe that. But for change to happen, because you can't keep going killing good people because you're losing money. You have to draw the line somewhere. You got to stand up somewhere. You got to risk your life somewhere, right? Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty honorable way to do it.
Well, we can look at the stats and the numbers today, but and we see the increases in some of these, like Alzheimer's and autism. But I often wonder if we go back in history 300, 400, 500 years, was there Alzheimer's? Was there autism, or is this something that is going on not only with the heavy metals and some of the things that are out there, fluoride and mercury and aluminum and these things that are part of our society today and pollution, but also just general diet and GMOs and some of the other mass-produced sodium nitrate, phosphate stuff that, and when you think about all of the artificial flavors and colorings that are created in these chemical labs around the country, and the way that we did it free form in the 40s and 50s, everything was injected and colorized and flavored, and we didn't care. BHT, and all of these things that were added to foods that we didn't care about it, and we ingested it on a mass scale. So could all of this cumulative thing of modern, this technical age, are we a victim of that now?
Well, I believe we are. In fact, I know dementia's been around for a long time, but you got to look at the stats here. 1 in 10,000 back in the probably 70s, 60s that people had autism. Now it's 1 in 42. The CDC itself, which is definitely has been corrupted, as well as the FDA, as we know, is now saying in the next so many years it's going to be 1 in 5. Come on, but no one knows why it's happening. Yeah, we know. These doctors know. Everyone knows you can't say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, you may get the thumb put on you. You get the black spot in your hand, as they do with the pirate's life. So, but these folks are standing up. You know why? Because they're tired of it. They're tired of living this life where they've been dishonored by the licensing boards. They've been dishonored by the media overall. And you know what? And these are good, honest, God-loving men and women who have risked not only their lives, but just to speak the truth. Come on. There has to be a line there where you have to get everybody behind you to support that. And on top of that, they're reversing Alzheimer's, they're reversing MS, they're reversing cancer, they're minimizing cancer without any side effects, and the barbaric treatment of chemotherapy, which is basically, I don't know if you knew, chemotherapy radiation has a 3% success rate. Why would we be doing anything with a 3% success rate? 97% of the time it fails? This is insanity. And once you pull out of that matrix and you realize we've been caught into this money trap, this keeping everybody sick. When you're sick and you have to deal with symptoms, you're easily more controllable because you're not worried about thinking about these things that you and I are talking about right now, because you want to survive. And so this is the part of the insidious aspect of, I say, being plugged into the matrix on all levels, not just with the aliens and the insidiousness of what's going on with our politics and wars and the reasons why we're in the Middle East has nothing to do with why they say we are. It's just so upside down that I'm glad, because finally right now, Jimmy, you tell me if you agree with me. Right now, light is shining on darkness, and darkness is seeing the light probably for the first time. This duality is starting to blend into a grayness now. And the light is getting lighter and the dark is getting darker, only because I believe it's seeing each other for the first time, at least from my perspective. And this is why I consider, even with all this going on, I am so happy. And if I end up in a river with a shotgun in my chest, it has nothing to do with what I've been saying. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy to be alive and living, and this excitement of learning how I could create my own reality collectively with others and with you, and with sharing this information and speaking your truth, and let it be honored, and having that protection, that self-protection of all your angels and energies that are really benevolent out there that surround us, even though you don't have to see it, that surround us because your intention knows it, right? This is the time to be alive. This is exciting time. Like, this is, I can't wake up every day and I get to go somewhere and do something that I love to do. And I know you feel the same way.
I do. And I see and feel the change, but there's something else that when you talk about this polarization, right? The yin and yang, the light and the dark, and the dark is dark and the light, and they're starting to collide. The other part of it is society now more than ever, and it has to do with the connectivity of the internet and social media and the way that it is treated now today, is that everything now is getting more and more polarized. Everything is to the extreme. There isn't any mellowness in the middle. There isn't any acceptance of the other side. It's just like everybody is expected to choose a side and stay there. And if you speak your mind at all, you're just blasted. And this thing that is coming out is like human nature. And I don't understand this anger. You know, it's amazing. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's sports or politics or, man, I love butterscotch pudding. What? You're insane. It's just like, wait a minute, man. You can't do everything is to the extreme. And it's exactly what you're talking about. It's clashing.
I call it divine insanity, in my opinion. And I believe what we're in the midst of right now is called a crisis of perception. I think because our perceptions have been mind controlled and manipulated through so many different venues, as you talk about all the time on your different shows, and because there's this cumulative effect now of manipulating what they consider truth. Truth is a lie, lie is a truth, and people are just confused if they're not now. See, I think the universe has a plan here, and I give you to be grasping at straws here, but tell me if you follow this logic. I really believe that we're being forced to go within ourselves, because we're finding out outside of ourselves is chaos, craziness, and nuts. It doesn't make sense, and we can't resolve that. So the universe is kind of like squeezing, and it's saying, hey, listen, you're not going to find your answers outside. You're not going to find your answers outside. You're not going to find your answers outside. And I think through this process of waking up to this, like you said, this polarization of life and not knowing what's true and not knowing what's a lie, we have to go within ourselves to find our own answers, because that's the only place left to go that we've been avoiding, distracting, getting addictions and everything else, and thinking that we're going to find a satisfaction and joy and outside gratification of the materialistic world. And I think when you do come from a sense of joy, you can enjoy what you're creating on a manifested world and really play with it. And if you don't have it anymore, it's okay. You could create something else, right? But you have to first go within yourself to joy. You have to go within and discover that power of your intention and power of God, the power of that energy and source, to really learn to play with this darkness and play with the light as your understanding. And I'll tell you what, I do see what you're saying, Jimmy, but I also think that people like you, me, and now thousands of more people, and I consider life coaches, people getting involved in life coaching now is a great example of how the individual is an awakening to a higher purpose and higher self. They're popping up everywhere, and I think that's the best thing since sliced bread. And I think because you have a microphone and you have a voice to get out there, you are the moderator. You are the moderation out there. You know the polarization going on, and you can help people realize that being polarized is only making your journey a more harder experience, and you don't have to be that way. And I tell you what, I see that, and I see once we shift that perception, the crisis starts becoming less of a crisis, in my opinion.
Well, and you when you're fed through commercials and this lifestyle that you need to get out of high school, go to college, get out of college, get a job, go work for a corporation for 35 years, work your way up. Your goal is to have 3 cars in the driveway and a 4-bedroom house with TVs in every room and a pool in the backyard. You're going to work up to that. And when you get there, you're going to see happiness. Right? That's the goal, right? And so you go and you spend 35 years, 40 years of your life dedicated to paying taxes and supporting a sports team, and you do your thing, and you get to the end of the line, and you look around and you go, dude, I'm not happy. What did I just spend my entire life wasted on? What? On what? And that's what is mind blowing to me. But it is effective. It works. It feeds the machine. It keeps the economy going. The banking and interest rates and all and taxes and everything else. It keeps the machine going. But ultimately, in the end, emotionally and spiritually, where are you? And I'm here to say that there is a large amount of people right now that have now gone through this cycle and are going, it just wasn't worth it. If I had to do it all over again, I would have done it completely differently. And that's why the light is clashing with the dark right now. And I'm serious. People are starting to wake up to there's more to life, there's more to the universe, there's more to everything than what we have been told. And we're finding that out right now. And yeah, you're right. It's an exciting time to be alive.
Especially if you kind of understand a little bit more how you define the reality, and like in your position, you could see it better as it unfolds in front of you. And I really think that, like you hit on so much, and it is brilliant that I'm so glad that you're in I call it a power role, and it's important that we have people in power positions, not only in our society but for other people to be mentors for them, because you can speak your truth and still have success. And I think more so now than ever before. And, people could say we're in this Luciferian net over this world, but the universe is definitely benevolent, right? Whatever it may be. And when you're saying earlier, we were caught in the matrix working from 35, 40 years, you'll thank the demigods for that, right? And so when you kind of realize you're in this net, you could be successful in this net and doing the right thing through intention, and I call living intentional life as being connected to source, right? Be successful, materialistically be successful. And I think it's more important now for people around the world to be materialistically successful who are coming from joy, coming from positive intention and manifestation, more so other people can see the light that, you know what? This person's successful, and they didn't have to compromise or sign their contract with the devil. And look at this person. He is able to do whatever he wants, or she's able to do whatever she wants. That's who I'm going to model from. And I see it more so now from a bottom up. Is people are becoming more successful who do that. Now, if you're caught into the polarization of the aspect of it, and you're watching the media, you listen to entertainment tonight, or you listen to all the different types of, propaganda and disinformation that's being on, you're going to fall into the political correctness, and you're going to be polarized. You're going to go with the straights against the gays, the blacks against the whites, the transgenders against the homosexuals. You're going to go through all the different division and feel that sense of polarization and realize that we're all the same. You don't have to feed into that. Stop watching. Disconnect from that type of media. Just disconnect from it. Go outside with your bare feet and get grounded with Mother Earth, and just go within yourself. 5 minutes a day. You don't have, if people have a hard time meditating because these metals are just everywhere now, go outside and just take your shoes off and just on bare feet, stay outside, look at a tree for 5 minutes, for whatever reason, and just have that experience. And then you come back and you're not so wound up. You're connected. You're connected back into source. And that's how easy it could be. You don't have to go through this big process to connect to source, and I think that's an important aspect of what we teach, not only at the UI Radio Network, but also at the foundation, but also believe that's what you teach in what you're doing from your perspective with all the different level of topics that you do. And I don't know if you may not even realize you're doing it, but I see it.
Well, and when we come back, we're going to stay on this because what I find important is if everybody just accepted and went back to our foundations and accepted what we used to believe, which is our strength not only as a country or as a town or as a street or as a planet, is that we're all bleeping different. I don't want to sit down and talk to somebody that's just like me. That crap is boring. I want to talk to the opposite of me. Right? That's what made, when you lived on a street where you had all the different cultures and people and that's what made your street wonderful. You don't want to live on a street and grow up where everybody's exactly the same. What's the joy in that? And the other part, and we got to take a break, but we're going to pick up when we come back, is that there are people out there by the millions that literally go to work every single day and actually think that this is all there is. There's nothing in the universe. There's no life out there. There's no life after death. There are no ghosts. There is no anything. All you do is life, death, and taxes. Right? And they don't care. They don't wonder. They don't ponder. And that's crazy to me. That's boring. That's why Tim Ray is our guest tonight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Pick this up when we come back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Tim Ray. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Manna. New Manna, emergency food storage for you and your family. MSG and GMO-free, made in America. Just use the promo code Jimmy, and you will get yourself an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. And you know you want one, and you get peace of mind. Your wife is happy because you're the king of the castle and you've made sure that your family's taken care of. And you get to sport an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. It's a win-win. Go to the New Manna website. Click on it right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code Jimmy. Tim, check this out. So I'm at the Conscious Life Expo, walking through the lobby, and I see, 7-foot John Sally standing there. And I'm like, man, I gotta go say hi to John, right? Yeah. So I step up, and there's John doesn't know who I am, but there's Jennifer Kramer, right? Oh, big shout out to Jennifer. Jennifer, she's probably listening, and thank you for connecting the dots. She's amazing. But anyway, so Jennifer's there. She turns, Jimmy, hey, Jennifer, blah, blah, blah. And John goes, wait a minute, what's going on? And she makes and John immediately, went, I got to ask you a question, man. Can I talk to you for a few minutes? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man. Let's talk about this UFO thing, right? And whatever, he wanted to talk about this and that, and ask me questions. Here's a guy that is bright and alert and awake and is asking these questions, and I found it to be remarkable. And he was probably happy that I didn't want to talk about the Pistons or the Lakers. And, that's a first time for him. But he gets it. He understands. And I think that is a barometer of society in general. Don't you? That I don't think that we're the crazy people anymore, that we are becoming normal.
There's a shift, Jimmy, and I don't know when it happened. It could have been... It could have been, during the administration change, or it could have been prior to that. It could have been a year or two ago. I don't know. But there has been a shift where one shift I could tell you right now, these integrative doctors are coming out and they're speaking up. They're not as, scared as they were. And whether it's just they got the courage now because they're uniting, or is it just there's an environmental change, something has changed in our politics or in our government. I don't know. But there's definitely a shift where people are waking up to, and I like to consider it maybe just our hertz, our Earth is vibrating frequency at a higher hertz than it was a year ago, and people who are keeping up with that hertz are seeing things, are experiencing more things on that level of frequency. But the people who are not, the polarized people, as you're referring to earlier, and who are fighting it, who are fighting this shift change, and they're wanting to keep that old Piscean, force over others, and I got to get this for me, and they're not kind of going with looking at humanity more so as a progression. Then I think they're having a very hard time with this shift, this raising of frequency on a much larger level, on a Gaia level. So hopefully that's it. But I see John Sally. I think these guys popping up everywhere now.
Yeah, I know. And we've had another unintentional push for us, and I'm talking about our community, is when fake news kicked off and was proven to be a reality, right? That everybody was participating in it. And that when you have things like, Facebook and other social media sites out there that were propagating fakeness, those that were buying into the fakeness by the millions and took the bait suddenly found out that they took the bait on something that wasn't real. Then you go back to us in our community where we've been shouting about this forever. Right? Now they get the paradigm shift. Yes. And they've got to question their own reality and what they have been fed. Suddenly our community, we're the sane ones. We get to kick back and say, I told you so. Right? But that is helping this shift in reality and what is real and what is not. And it was an accident. The mass media didn't want this. Washington didn't want this. Suddenly, you've lost control of the population.
Yeah, WikiLeaks, I think, had a big piece of that, too.
Sure.
I just think when they started going out about not only the Clintons, but just with all the pedophilia and the satanic aspect of what's going on, I think that kind of opened up a lot of different eyes for people like, whoa, these people are not who they say they are, And, and I listen, at this point, I don't trust any president in position. I don't think we've had a real person voted in probably since, maybe 60 years, but 70 years. But nevertheless, I think people are waking up to things that, wow, this is what really is going on. This doesn't seem real. And that WikiLeaks stuff was just pushed across, hushed up very quickly to a certain degree. But the after effects, people in our communities who did keep watch, do know what's going on, understands why YouTube is taking down. They took down I had a CIA, ex-CIA director, Kevin Shipp interview. I interviewed a few times, and we had one called Satanic Pedophilia. And YouTube just took it down. After hundreds of thousands of views, they took it down because you can't say the word satanic anymore. I guess, Satanists have feelings too, and you don't want to hurt their I don't know where random things are doing, but YouTube, Facebook, they're just, once Obama handed it over to the UN a couple of years ago, as his going away president, it's just now we're seeing the effects of censorship. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, our forefathers right now, if they knew this level of censorship was going on, they'd be rolling over in their graves. And, they just didn't, I'm not saying that we need to probably bring tar and feather back to our daily life, but, we just so desensitized to losing our rights and our constitutional rights that it's not even a question anymore. You just accept it and move on. I just don't understand that part of it. And I guess, what? Maybe I do. And this is my thought too. We were on the panel at the Conscious Life Expo. I don't know if you probably weren't in the room, but we had this panel of media experts. You had different groups in there, and one guy kept saying all the time, "Hey, listen, we have to get the whole House of Representative turnover, get these liberal people in here, and we'll change it overnight." I'm like, man, we've been playing back and forth with Republicans and Democrats for decades now. Nothing ever changes. It just gets worse, right? Maybe the answer is not political. Maybe the Constitution has done its job to the point where we are now, and maybe now we're at the point where our solution is going to be spiritual. Maybe that once we realize that we have this power and we're connected to Source and God, that when we're living in that light, we're not going to want to do dumb things or bad things or hurtful things. We're going to have this kind of internal guidance or connection to our higher self that we're going to want to do the right thing, whatever that may be at the time, right? And so maybe that we need to advance to now another level, and not that the answer is going to be in politics anymore or a puppet president or the Illuminati or whatever the case may be. Maybe the answer is going to be on a spiritual awakening. Maybe that's really what is going on, that we're supposed to be spiritually awakening. Maybe that's more the second coming of awakening than it is that we got to get a new political system put in place or some superhero is going to come save us later on at some point. I really think, and I hope that's the case, because that would make more sense why I'm here, why you're here, why millions, billions of other people are here, is to awaken within themselves of their own divinity and their own sense of power. And I think, I don't think I mentioned it before, but you watched Twilight Zone, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was an episode on there that just always rings true to me, that, this criminal, he died and then he goes to what he considers to be heaven because he's getting everything he ever wanted. That he's he's a gambler. He wants to gamble. He wins everything.
That's one of the best episodes ever. He's got the hotel room in heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
With the chicks, and he wins all the gambling. Okay, yeah. One of the best episodes. Go ahead. That's an amazing episode.
Oh, it is, but the bottom line is that, he realizes at the end, it's like, listen, I don't like this heaven. I get everything I want. I want to go down to hell and where it's more fun. He goes, you are in hell. But the bottom line is, if we knew our spiritual divinity and we didn't have to work for it, we would be boring here. We would be like this guy up in heaven, like we get everything in, we're manifesting, we're creating, and we get everything we want. No, we got to work for it. We're blinded by it. We're not aware of our spiritual divinity to whatever degree, because we're wanting this experience. I truly believe we're wanting to have this. Wow, I'm playing with touch. I'm playing with water. If you're like, wow, we take it for granted, everything that in 3-dimensional world, if we truly are spiritual beings of light and a much lighter density, wow, why can't we really enjoy just touching this microphone pole here? It's like, wow, we take that for granted. We may not have the opportunity to do it next time around, So I really truly believe that we're here to not only waken up to our divinity, but to experience and enjoy this 3-dimensional world. And we have full freedom and full choice and free will to go in any direction, darkness or light. And instead of listen, I've been dark, and I'm sure I'll be dark in many different times in my life based on whatever circumstance it may be. And it'll be relevant to whatever darkness I consider dark or light versus whatever. Somebody else could be much more, it's all relative. But my point is, we're here to play, and we're here to learn, and we're here, I think, to awaken to that divinity. And why would we want the answers to the test? I don't think we do. I really think we're not supposed to. And that's why I think it's exciting to be alive.
It reminds me of also the Childhood's End. And in Childhood's End, if you remember, the way that Arthur C. Clarke presented that was E.T. arrives here and fixes everything, right? That if nobody's got to work, nobody gets sick anymore. Right. And he, E.T., can't show his face because he looks like the devil, right? He's got horns and he's got wings and the whole thing, and he can only communicate behind this mirror. But the point to it all is that blissfulness, the acceptance of that, where we wanted that so bad as a society that we didn't question anything, right? We blindly went for it and we took the bait. And that has a lot of mess. We shouldn't want somebody to come here and fix our problems. The answer to happiness is fix our own problems and work, because then there's rewards at the end, and whatever those rewards may be, but you have to work for it, and that's where the satisfaction is. I think life would be really boring if you had nothing to do every single day.
You got everything you want. You manifest whatever you want. After a while, you're like, where's the mystery here? I mean, how would I have? I think since we don't earn it, if we just are given stuff or given the answers, we don't earn it. We can't respect it, and when you can't respect it, you can't make solid decisions of what's best for you or other people, because you never earned it. You don't know what it's like to incorporate it into your life.
I'll give you an example. I'm a big gamer, right? I don't have the time to game anymore, but I'm a big gamer. Love video games, right? And so back in the day, I'm playing this specific game, and the frustration of playing the game and stuff. Anyway, so this friend comes over and goes, "Hey man, I got a crack for that game." And so he comes up and gives me, a disc or a CD or whatever, and I put the crack in. And now everything that I discover in the game is a top-level gold thing, right? An item. And I played the game. I played the game for like a half an hour. And I'm going through, and all I'm doing is winning. Right? This is like, wait a minute. I I got to uncrack this game. I got to take this crack out. How do I take the crack out? The challenge of the game. And it was amazing to me how much I turned. I flipped right away. The frustration of working for things is part of life's struggle, right? And I learned this weird life's lesson with that. And after that, cracks in video games, it was like, no, I'm not interested in that. But isn't it weird? You don't want a crack in life, right? You don't want that. You don't want to win every single. You don't want to never be challenged. How do you progress? How do you move forward? You move forward because you're challenged, right? Yeah. The tests are hard. The reading is hard. Doing the right thing is hard. If you won and came up spades all day long, you would be happy with that for minutes. For minutes, not for a day. You would be done with it.
It's oxymoronic, really, if you think about it, because here we are, we're just selling our soul just to not have to be, living that life. And then when you get everything you want, you're like, I'd rather struggle. And so it's forever battle. And I think that aspect of our soul combined with our physical body here, combined with our mental and our cognitive skill sets, and as well as our feelings and emotions to the body, mind, and soul kind of combination here is I don't know where it's being led. I don't know which is the initiative, which is the one that's the drive, but it has to be, I think, a combination of the three, because I don't know if that's just unique to humans, but maybe it is. But it's just amazing how we're just chasing something, and finally when you get it, you can't appreciate it almost. And I think that's the lesson that I've been learning, because I'm a maverick and I'm an entrepreneur and I'm always doing something, and I love creating things from scratch. I love having an idea and just starting it from scratch. I mean, all the different business I have so far, that's what I've done. But at the same time, what I've realized, and more so now, is that I haven't really been able to really fully appreciate what the accomplishments that I have done, and for whatever reasons. And so I go on to the next, I'm like, whoa. Wow, that was pretty impressive what you just did. Take a minute, and I have people, or friends and close friends, who say that to me, Tim, you should sit back and relax and enjoy what you created and look at this. And it's hard. It's hard for me, who's caught up into that. But I get it though. I get it when you're relaxed and you're still and you're still. You could sit back and just feel you deserve to appreciate what you accomplished. That not enoughness, which is, I think, is the number one reason why we have a crisis perception in this world. Most of us come from an element of not enoughness. We don't feel enough. And I had people that I learned through, like Daniel Packard and a whole bunch of other folks out there, who teach that wow, this not enoughness is so pervasive, ingrained in almost everything that we do. We don't even realize it. We don't leave our comfort zone to take the risk, because we don't feel we're enough. And I could go collectively around the board, people who have billions of dollars and people who have no dollars. It is an issue, I think, where when you, and I don't know, because I'm not there yet, but I would assume when I do feel I have enough, and I have glimpses and moments of that. I shouldn't say I don't have that, but not I'd say on a daily consistent level. But if I was always feeling like I had enough, would I now all right, I'm out of here, I'm checking out, what's next? I mean, what would I experience then, right? When you feel everything's just right, perfect, okay, I'm just going to go to bed for a while.
Yeah, it's really weird when you look at something like, the lottery, right? And, these mega lottery winners, and you would think that's whatever, you go play the lottery, man, I got to do the lottery, man, I got to win the lottery. And you really want to see a life destroyed, go look at a lottery winner, because there's no challenges left in life.
Great example, yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. But there's another part, though. And if you are doing what makes you happy, and that old adage, right, you would do it for free. Right? Whatever that job is, whatever that thing that is that you want to do, you love it so much and you get that bliss that you would do it for free. And in the end, and you're rewarded, right, for that. And so you're doing what makes you happy, and you are able to get a brand new Harley Davidson, or you're able to get a brand new, maybe it's a Jaguar or whatever it is. Yeah. Then there is satisfaction in that because you got it from something that makes you happy. It just so happens that there is reward at the end. You're not doing it at the beginning for money, right? That's not what you're doing. What makes you happy. And if somebody gives you, I had a friend of mine, if somebody gives you a Jaguar, you're never going to wash it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to crash it and never fix the dent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to smoke in it, and spill your bong water in the carpet. You know,
it's a good litmus test, though, Jimmy, because when you want that yacht and you get the yacht, whatever the case may be, the litmus test for me is this. We're here to play and create. And whatever we create, we should be able to enjoy it. And if we can't enjoy it, and I think where it happens is our expectation of our attachment to it, it's to the point, and a lot of religions talk about attachment, and I get it, though. I get it just from a simple thing. If I lose my car gets stolen or blown up, or I have a boat and the boat sinks, my attachment to that is where the pain is going to be involved in. But the litmus test for me is if I'm not attached to it, and I see that this is just something I manifested through my efforts, discipline, whatever, thoughts, beliefs, whatever you want to equate it to. But yet, if it sinks and I'm not attached to it, it's all right. That's when I think maybe I'm at a state where, okay, I could truly enjoy this game of creating rather than just losing everything, you know, and that's a question that everyone has to ask, especially who have sacrificed and disciplined things all their lives and they got all this materialistic buildup. You know, you ask that question one time to yourself. And I ask that question to me all the time. I have a beautiful home. Like, wow, what if my home just burned down and I didn't have it anymore? I mean, I would just be devastated, right? But at the same time, I'm like, well, yeah, but knowing me, I'd create but at the same time, I had to measure my level of attachment to whatever these things that I have. And if I can start detaching a little bit every day to it and not see it as this part of my own identity of who I am, who makes Tim Ray up, then I think then I could truly enjoy it. You know, so it's a game. It's a off and on type of situation. But I think that's not a bad focus or a litmus test to realize if you're truly enjoying what you're creating is by letting it go. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly right, though. It's spot on. I remember, you want to do a little overtime with me?
Absolutely.
I know you're out there in hot Atlanta, and it's starting to get a little bit late, but we're going to head towards a break here, and I'm enjoying the conversation. I don't want it to end. So there you go. So we'll keep you over. But back in the mid-'90s, I can't say who or what or when. I'm not going to do that. But I was at a rock star's house. And, you know, a major cat, life is good. And in his driveway was a class. I'm a big Mustang guy. I love Mustangs. And in his driveway was a mid-'60s Mustang fastback. And I look at it, and it's got like a half-inch of dust and 2 flat tires. And I'm looking, and I'm like, dude, you know? And he goes, yeah, you know, somebody gave that to me, you know, years ago. And yeah, I'm like, how can you do that? Give it away or something.
Sinful.
but what do you do? It did absolutely zero. Didn't care. You know,
Yeah.
Somebody gave him that car, and out of respect, you don't even keep the tires inflated. You haven't washed it obviously in 15 years. It hasn't moved. You know, there's rats building nests in that thing. And I thought, what a shame, you know, and I just don't get that mentality. But why? He didn't pay for it. He didn't earn it. You know, it'd be a whole different ball game if that was the case. But there you go. So it was funny. I just got this text, or this tweet just comes in from David. He says, in reference to the lottery, I need scientific evidence of that backed up by personal experience. Then I'll agree with that. You know, I watched that. What was that TV show? It was like 10 years ago. how lottery ruined my life, or whatever it was called. I may have that wrong.
Well, it's too much frequency at one time. See, they didn't. It's like jumping ahead of the game and getting the answers, and you didn't earn it because you didn't study. Because you're. It's too much. It's too much energy, too much frequency at one time because it's not matching. Your energy of appreciating and receiving is not matching your energy of that creation, and so it gets lost, like you said. And to me, it makes complete sense. You know, and you got to be able to know on that knowing scale, I deserve this. And if you don't feel like you deserve it, or you don't feel like you appreciate it, then it's not. You're going to have the guy screwing up the Mustang is never going to really be able to appreciate the beauty he has in his hands. You know.
Well, the universe, the basic law of the universe, man. No positive without a negative. That's it. Everything operates off of that principle, right? So that's it. It's the fundamental of everything. Once you figure that out, you can start to kick life's butt, and you can start to win. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Tim Ray. When we come back, we're going to do a little overtime with Tim. I'm having a good time. It's a conversation that is on point, and we'll pick things up when we come back. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Tim Ray right after this. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Doing a little overtime with our guest tonight, Tim Ray. Really quick, I've been talking about OnStellar. We launched it last night. And so go and register over at OnStellar. It's onstellar.com, our new social media platform for our community. No censorship. It's based on the blockchain. Go over to onstellar.com, read through everything. There's a white paper there. You can go and check it out. It's a wonderful platform. But go and register now. And it's simple to do, normal registration process. But use the promo code Jimmy so we can keep tabs on everything. That's the first thing. And then you'll get an email, verify through that. Then you can go back and choose your screen name. And you want the screen name that you want. Maybe it's your name. Maybe you want to have, I don't know. I don't know what your screen name you may want. But you can go and do all of that now on stellar.com. And Tim, really quick, where can everybody go and listen to your show?
Great. They could just go right to Spreaker.com. We have an app you could download on the App Store called UI Radio Network. You can listen 24 hours a day. We're on WDJY. You could also go to YouTube. We have a big YouTube channel. Put them all on there. Our Facebook Live, we have it all there as well. UnitedIntentions.org is probably the first place you want to start out. So, and then, again, it's just it's a great place to start finding and matching frequencies of people who are learning. See, what I love about this, because your community is, what you're doing is just exactly what you need to be doing. And in our community, exactly what we need to be doing. They're complementary in many ways in the sense of like-minded people. And in ours, what we're able to do is when you're creating and tracking and manifesting your intention, whatever it is, one intention at a time, right? You're doing it with a community of people. So people have to realize that there is power in when two or more people come together in prayer, two or more people come together in intention. There's electromagnetic energy. You're dealing with almost scalar energy of helping manifest intentions when you combine your united intention on there. So not only are you helping people manifest their intentions, but they're in your community, they're helping you manifest your intentions because you share your intentions with each other. And so it's once you get to that point of vulnerability of sharing and really, hey, this is important to me, you could do healing requests. We have on there, you could just basically look at doing what you're grateful for, sharing what you're grateful for, what kind of acts of kindness you witness, what do you receive, what are you experiencing, and you say, and what love? So why is that important? Seems kind of silly. No, it's all about creating a higher frequency, and also the biochemical reactions in your body when you're witnessing an act of kindness. There's biological chemistry in your body of parasympathetic hormones that are flowing through your body that are kind of countering all this sympathetic hormones that are being given to us through our media and everything else. So it's it's building your immune system on many ways. So it's really important, and it's an opportunity to experiment with the law of attraction, experiment with the power of intention, and meet the most incredible people who are in line with what you're doing, and in as well as healing requests. So that I love the aspect of it. I love that you could play with it, but that's just me getting excited about my little product there.
Well, and what I find interesting about that is I think that science is proving now in a very public way that there are things going on around us that were very fantastical and science fiction in years gone past. And I'm speaking specifically about locality, non-locality, quantum fields, quantum mechanics, quantum theory, multi-world, parallel worlds, multiverses. These things are now part of scientific study, and they are proving these things that truly exist. And if they continue down this path, introducing this into not only our educational system, but products that we sell and computers and just things. Well, then the law of attraction, manifesting, changing your own reality, looking to other possibilities out there are all real. This is all real, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer would kill me if I didn't say this too, because we did create the Imagine If program. She helped create this program where it's all about the intention. It's showing children from first grade to 12th grade. You'll love this, Jimmy. Showing children from first grade to 12th grade how their thoughts create their reality, how they change their perception, they change their experiences. It helps with leadership, bullying, and there's this four simple, and it's given to a child and the words in their level that they can understand. And as they get older, of course, you use words like intention. But it's imagine this, Jimmy. If you and I learned at first grade that our thoughts create our experiences, where do you think we'd be today? I mean, think of it. We wouldn't be playing victim ever. We would be taking ownership of everything that we manifest and create.
Right.
We would understand that aspect of it. And think if we had a society who really learned that. And this SEL is a social emotional learning program. We have it in some schools here in Georgia. We just was out in California. Actually, one of my real reasons was out there outside of the Conscious Life Expo was to meet with some key people who could get us set up to get this into their school programs. That's how you're really going to change a paradigm by going to your youth and showing them, giving them a fish is great, but you show somebody how to fish, Jimmy, that is everything, man.
Well, it is, but I'm going to shoot Jennifer down right now. You know why?
Why?
That's an easy project to get started. Jennifer, do something more challenging. No, and what I mean by that is she's absolutely right in focusing on this, because the youth of today get it. The youth of today, what I mean by I'm shooting Jennifer down, that's easy convincing children of that. They already get it.
Yeah, but they're not given that in schools. They teach them everything else other than that.
Well, what I mean, hold on. What I mean by that is, let me backpedal. The challenge is the adults today that are all set in their ways. Right now, that's a challenge, right there. Jennifer's project is spot on the money. The children today, they get it. They get aliens. They get the paranormal. They get ghosts. They get parallel worlds. They get manifesting your reality. They totally, I don't know what happened with the DNA, but the kids coming up today and Jennifer focusing on that is exactly because I'm telling you, that generation that right now, the kids that are being born right now in hospitals get it from the word go.
Listen, I hear you, and there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. And interesting you say that. I mean, of course, I'd want our school system to emphasize this because, in a decade or two from there, if everyone understands that, you'd have a whole nother world. The whole house of cards would fall apart. However, she just also now is creating an adult version, as you say. Like a lot of our
that's some work. Yeah. That's some work. That's some work. And Jennifer is spot on with that. And to recognize that this next generation, like I said, that is for some reason their eyes are bright. And they get it. There's been some kind of crazy change in the DNA. And Jennifer, with this project focusing on that, just think about this. 20 years from now, as those kids grow up, change will be in place. Yeah, good for Jennifer. That's absolutely amazing. But like I said, it's too easy.
I agree with you. In fact, when she comes back to work tomorrow, I'm going to tell her she's going to have to pick her game up, man.
Yeah, so, right.
I'll say, Jim, I'm going to blame it on you too, Jimmy.
How tall is Jennifer?
Oh God, I think she's 6 foot or 5'11". She's 6'2", maybe 6'1", 6 foot. I think.
Yeah, when it was really funny because I'm standing next to John Sally. He's 6'11", 7 foot, whatever. I'm 6 foot, and I'm looking up at him, and it was funny. He cut me off and said, "Dude, okay, if you think you're going to crack a joke right now that I haven't heard before, right?" And so we laugh about that, and then Jennifer stands up. And I'm like, what's going on here? Oh my goodness gracious. So
It's Sonny and Cher when I'm around around her. So Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, right. I can see that. I can
do
see
it for
that.
Halloween costume or something.
and staying on this parallel world thing when we're talking about manifesting, and that this connection of brains that is happening now. There's a lot of things that could be influencing that. But what do you think about something that's maybe unintentional, like CERN? Or some of these things that are going on at Sandia, or these Lawrence Livermore, where they're doing experiments at the subatomic level that they may not have any control of. Do you think that is causing us to be more alert, and maybe these parallel worlds are opening up? Mandela effect.
Well, it could be. And now the question is, who's behind this? What's their intention? Do you have insidious people running this, then perhaps maybe a positive future for us may not seem as, may not make sense that then what we're experiencing positive has to do with that. However, if there's more benign people in charge of CERN and all these other experiments that they're doing, as you just said, then maybe there is related to that. So I would equate to the outcome being based on the intention of who's in charge of running these things. Because it could be, or they're trying to manipulate it for the worst thing, and then the side effect is a great thing. So I listen. At this point, anything's possible. I honestly I wake up in the morning, Jimmy, and I'm like, listen, I don't know what's going to happen to the world today. I really don't know, and it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm going to focus on what I could create, and if there are variables out there, like you're saying, with CERN, and my research on it has been, it may not have the best intentions behind what they're doing, or at least because what we hear on the surface probably is not really what's going on. There's probably always a much inside scoop. That's why I don't like occults. I don't like secrecy. I don't even like fraternities. I don't like anything done in secret to whatever degree, because it's always has an opportunity to get perverted and information get perverted and truth be not allowed. And then before you know it, you have a secret space station that has technology 300 years, beyond what the mainstream understands. Even Billy Carson was telling me the other day, he says, Tim, I said it was like 100 years technology. He goes, Tim, I have evidence it's 300 years at least more advanced. And then when you have certain humans having 300 years more advanced of technology over the average human, who's just like you said, who's going to working 35 years and doing this thing, you know how much false sense of control, I should say, that gives that person over the other humans, to the point where this is where I'll go back to my Star Trek quotes here. When you limit your compassion to someone based on your estimation of their intelligence, that's when I think we start deviating from this. We start going into the fall. We start deviating from our compassion. We start deviating and start making decisions that are just inhumane. And I think it's very important is that, we have to have secrets against the wars and all. Come on, man. We are evolving into spirit. We're awakening to our spirituality here. These secrets are going to have to fall, and they will fall to the side as we rise or dial into that, that frequency of love. They will all fall, and the house of cards will fall. But give up the secrecies already, man. Come on, it's serving no one other than perpetuating more darkness. And if that's what you want, okay, that's what you want. But you know what? I don't. I'm here to be a light worker. I'm waking up to that purpose in what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying every second of it. And trust me, I make mistakes, and I get angry, and I play with darkness. But overall, I really kind of know what my purpose is, or at least my intention is. And that to me, I hold on to, and I'm not perfect. No, I understand that. However, this openness, being open, sharing the truth, and my truth could be totally off what you're saying your truth is. Truth is all a matter of perspective, right?
Right.
But my point is, I have the ability to do it. And I was telling someone the other day when they're like, well, this political correctness. I'm like, oh my God, stop it, people. Seriously? You falling for that trap? That's just another way to censor you and shut you up when you fall into that political correctness. It's like Facebook gone crazy. And once you let that go and you stop allowing other people or thoughts or concepts determine what you can say or not say that you believe is true, it's time to come out of the closet on that on many levels. You got to be able to say that and not worry about the fear aspect of it. And I interviewed Thomas Campbell a few times. I'm sure you know him, the author of My Big Toe, and he's a physicist, NASA physicist. And he said he does a lot of the out of body experiences. And he said, Tim, when you get out of your out of body and you're in this other dimension or other realm or whatever you want to call it, there's fear is going to come in, and a lot of times people have fear, they snap right back into the body again. But once you really start practicing and you start looking at fear, because fear will attract other fear situations. It's going to be a horrible experience, whatever it may be. But the only antidote to fear is courage. It means that you're not going to still not have fear, but even though you're fearful, you're still going to step up and face it and go forward with it. And that's how you start weaning down and eliminating your fear as you do, whether it's out-of-body experiences or you stepping up for the integrative doctors or you're talking about aliens when you know people don't want you to talk about it. Whatever the case may be, courage is really the antidote to what we're experiencing today. And I'll tell you what, Jimmy, don't you see people getting more courage than ever before? I do.
Well, yes, and I'll tell you why. If I imagine where we will be in 1,000 years on this planet, us, I'm not even so sure if we're going to have these bodies anymore. That's the first thing. But the way that we live today, killing each other, bullets, Tomahawk cruise missiles, stealth fighters, ships, armies, fighting, we're going to be way, way past that. So why can't we start to get there now? And I think that we are. Yeah. I really, really do. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years here. Thousands of years. And we're getting smarter and more mature every single day. And the one thing that looks more and more stupid, I am not... the flower hippies from the 60s. I'm not referring to that. I'm not coming from that mindset at all. But one thing that just is a dumb idea to me is shooting somebody. Okay. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And I think we're getting closer and closer to that idea and that mindset. 1,000 years from now, are we going to be on this planet fighting over borders and possessions? No, we're going to move way past that. So why can't we start now? We're going to get there eventually. And I think that's the shift in consciousness that we're starting to see today. I feel it. I really, really do.
I do too. And I'll tell you, it's all about going within, because when you go within, you can't help but tap into source. That you could call it whatever you want to call it, the living Christ energy, or you could call it God, whatever this definition you feel that that energy and that benevolence, that unconditional love, that's just unmeasurable and is there. That essence, not the demigods, not the Molochs and the Anunnaki and whatever demigods have been fighting with each other and whatever the case may be. I mean, that sense of energy that you can't even explain, that's more powerful than anything you could possibly imagine. When you tap into that, everything else just seems, wow, I'm okay. That's your courage. You get your courage from the God, don't you? I mean, that's probably where it comes from. Even people not even realizing it's probably coming from that source at some point. And I think that's exactly right. And I think this shift is happening. I see it. We're part of it. And more so, I think, is that when people finally fall on their face, or they're finally like that the wit's end, they're always going to come to that point. They're going to go, okay, I need help. And usually they're looking up and they're saying, I need help, God. I can't do it anymore. Whether it's the AA programs or it's the people go through this process. Like right now, one of the biggest tragedies in my experience has been these poor soldiers coming back from war who have just been totally inundated with negative intentions, negative thoughts, negative experiences, killing people. I mean, it's not playing video game anymore. Now it's real life. Grown up, you're killing people, and we're not taking into account our spiritual nature and the effects of they call it PTSD. No, I call it spiritual deprivation. And that's never processed. And these guys are coming back and killing themselves in groves because it's never have an opportunity to really engage and understand what we're doing to our spirit when we act on this type of just ugliness and devastation, and when you could realize that and you could reconnect to spirit, and that's when your addictions go. That's when everything goes, when you reconnect the spirit, whatever that means to you. And I think that's a true sense of what's going on. And that's one thing these integrative doctors talk about often too. It's the body, mind, and soul, and when you get to like Dr. Sinatra, you talk about the topic of Steve Sinatra out of California, you talk about spirituality, boy, he lightens up. He's like, yeah, that's the answer, love. That is the answer. That's the health answer. That's what you're going to raise your immune system by. And I agree with you. It's waking up. But certain segments in our society, I think, are just been dropped, left alone. And that's where I think a lot of people could come together and help raise them up, too, because they don't have to be left alone. And they're never really alone anyway. It's just they're just disconnected from source. Really, I see is the ultimate issue.
When you, and we're going to wind this down here. I've only got a few minutes left. But when you interview, I'm just curious here. When you're looking for a guest, what do you enjoy most? What do you look for in a guest? And do you have a favorite interview?
Yeah, great question. I honestly look, and I have a knack, but I look for somebody who's able just to express and be themselves. And I think just people who normally come on radio, whether they're Skyping in around the country, around the world, or here in the office, I seem to attract people who are ready to be their authentic self, and that's why I think a lot of interviews are great. I've been doing this series with Elisa E., who's supposedly a high-level MK Ultra survivor. She wrote a couple books about that. I mean, I'm talking about high level, where she has over 1,000 different personalities she had to integrate over the last 10 years, and some main personalities. Most of them were fragments. You talk about the torture from infancy to what they had to do when they split the brain. That is, I find, not only from my psychology background, but I find so fascinating. And I call her a true hero because you know how hard it is just to live life and to have, maybe no parents or to have whatever the case may be. But can you imagine living life where you're deliberately being choked to death to split your brain, being raped by your parents, being raped by the Naval Department, or whatever or agencies were involved in this, just to make you a sex assassin? So they could manipulate you all the way through your 20s and 30s and up to the 40s when she realized what was going on and got herself deprogrammed. But and put chips in your head and to manipulate you. To integrate, and she found her God at that point. She calls it the etheric living Christ energy. And that power of God not only came in and eliminated the handlers, because she integrated herself with 1,000 personalities. I have a hard time integrating my own personality, right? Can you imagine having 1,000 and then integrating over a period of time? Of course, she had some help, but what a true hero. And then now to share her story and to tell you what's going on behind the scenes with the Illuminati and all the stuff you're seeing with Disney and everything else. And a last show I had, is interesting enough, I know you got to go. A last show I had, our whole show was shut down. This sound came through, shut my whole computer system down. We started up again, and she still wrote me an email. She said, Tim, I think they were trying to try to regret. And she said, all I did was go outside, ground myself to the ground, and I was fine. So she's in full control of her personality. But that, to me, is one of my favorite, and ongoing, we're doing a series still with her, is my favorite interview so far. I mean, there's so many, it's hard to even tell, but as you know.
Right. Yeah, that's same thing for me. All I want to do is learn. Yeah. Right, and if I get that out of a guest, my thing. If I won the lottery tomorrow, Tim, I would literally go to Harvard or Stanford or one of these schools. I would pay for the Jimmy Church Library to be built, right, so I could get into the college. Because I wouldn't get in. On and I would go to school for the rest of my life. That's what I would do. I'd give all the money away, but I would make sure that myself and Rita were in college for the rest of our lives. That's what I would do. I would go and learn. Thank you so much, Tim. What a great conversation. Go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
I'm going to donate to your school. That's all I wanted to say. So.
Well, we could do the Tim Ray School of Journalism. We'll build that too.
Give me a little credit on that.
Hey, man, thank you so much for doing this overtime tonight. Great conversation. And again, everybody, it's unitedintentions.org. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Click on it. Go hang out with Tim and check out his show and the programs and everything else that they've got going over at United Intentions. Tim, thank you so much. I got to get out of here.
Thank you, Jimmy. Loved it, man. I have to have you come back, too. I'm going to be giving you a holler.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. The honor is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tim Ray, everybody. I'm telling you, that was a great conversation right there. And you've got to get over to unitedintentions.org. And the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Great conversation tonight. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldrich. Intro Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. Tomorrow night, Fader Night, John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines all night long. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Thank you, Tim Ray. Amazing conversation. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.